All right, chat, we're back. I need to get this set up here, except it's not because that's not pulled up right now. All right, guys, I'm gonna be right back. I need to go to the bathroom real quick. I will be literally like 10 seconds though. All right, I'll be right back, y'all. All right, give me literally like 5 seconds. All right, chat. We're gonna need to be locked in here. I have my popcorn, chocolate, and a couple drinks. Are we ready for this? This is the ultimate thing. Here we go. Alright. You ready for this? Wow, how did I gain a sub from that? What? I don't even know. Alright. Live scene. Are we ready, chat? Did my YouTube chat crash? I hope not. Okay, so my YouTube... Alright, I need to refresh my chat. Hold on. Chocolate at 11? 1.21. Yes, sir. Alright, hold on. I actually need to go grab a charger for my phone. I take that back. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. We're good. Hold on. Alright, guys. Charger has been acquired. I'm so ready for this popcorn and chocolate. Got some good stuff. Alright, here we go. Let us plug. Check Twitch, please. Oh, no. Oh, why is Twitch not showing up? Why? For the love of literally everything, why? Hold on. Was good? Okay, I know. Alright, Sphinx is hype right now, bro. I've never seen someone more hyped. I don't know why Twitch is not working. Like, this multi-stream is dying right now. Hold on. We go here. Let's go back. Okay. Can you message in the Twitch again, Sphinx? That would be greatly appreciated. And then we're going to start this up, boys. I just want to make sure Twitch is all working and everything. The issues, I have no idea if he messaged because my phone Twitch is weird. So we're going to have farts in the middle of the stream. Lovely. Love that. Forgot about that. All right. Did he message on Twitch? I'm not signed in on Twitch there. The Twitch on my phone, no worko. I can't type. Alright, y'all. We're just gonna say everything's working. And we're going to start it up. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let us begin the Super GT Full Race, all of that title. Ta-da! Alright, here we go.
Sponsor.
Oh, this is great. This quality is horrendous. Alright, here we go. Are you joking? I'm amazing at it. Am I sleepy? Yes. Can we stop plugging this, please? But when does it start? I think Twitch is frozen. I'm about to break Twitch. No, it's fine. It's here. Sphinx, when does it actually start? When does the race start? I'm not watching all... Someone's about to die. Someone's about to die.
Starting from pole position. And there, Sam?
It's the GT300 pole.
It's very easy for them, right?
All right.
Quick, focus in on...
We've already skipped 13
Honda,
minutes of this.
Toyota.
We were speculating about these flag wavers. They do this through the race. You'll see it every single lap as the cars go past. They wave the flags for their own car whenever it comes past. And we were speculating if they ever get tired
This
arms,
quality
if they
is
work
not
in shifts.
good.
I think
Find that out one day.
half an hour and you pass it to the person to your right. They gradually, maybe the flags
Like
gradually
the
work their
national
way down
anthem,
the
bruh.
grandstand. But yeah, you can always spot the flag wavers up in great big arm.
From that manufacturer.
Okay,
So
so
the Prius
we
has
don't
a
care about this.
RV8K Le
No
Mans
offense.
LMP1 engine from
Just don't
Toyota in
care.
the back of it.
Second at the first corner, but of course...
Alright, we do care about that.
Engine position, as long as and any engine of choice, as long as it came from that manufacturer. So the Prius
Change
has
the
a
game. No,
RV8K
guys, we're not
Le
changing the
Mans
game. This
LMP1
is
engine from
let's
Toyota
do
in the
this.
back of it, which is quite something to see. And the Honda there has the LMP2 engine in the back of it. As we come around for one more.
It will be one more. You'll see any
Exactly.
second now. Unfortunately, the stricken car is still on the side of the circuit.
Yeah, they'll get that cleared off before the cars come to green. And then the third type of car you have is the new spec for 2015.
So what's
is the
happening?
mother chassis
Oh, this is
car. Now, these
formation,
all have
boy.
the same three cars in fifth position. That's the Lamborghini and the Ferrari. They're still holding on to their position.
It's
Fourth
formation.
position as we
Alright, here we
are
go, here we go.
seeing
I actually want to see the beginning.
some really high speed Tom's
Points lead.
try and find out.
But that car pulls in.
All
and
right,
the
here we
drivers
go.
are getting into formation for this rolling start over the top. Of course, they can't see the grid
Work.
until they come over the crest there.
All right.
Then it's going to be an explosion of sound of thunder, waiting for the green. Red lights on the gantry to go green. They do, and the pulsator goes very, very quickly away at the start. But the challenge from the car, the Baguette car, Nakajima car,
Yeah.
in third place, doesn't make it into second at the first corner. But of course, that's the one carrying no ballast
I'll
at
probably
all.
just
so
be
watch out for the
silent,
white Honda
and
in
then
third place. But
if something
great
happens,
start
I'll
from the
commentate.
pulsator.
Rough as sedate
I'll make you
Getaway,
popcorn.
I think the
You eat
Bertie
chocolate.
Baguette car was a little bit too far back off that start line and they didn't get away too well. We'll cut back to GT300s in a minute, but Baguette now under pressure from the car that started in fourth position as we are seeing the GT300 start on the right-hand side of the screen. The Arta CRZ making a great getaway with that mother chassis car in second position. I can't see who that is in third. It is that little Prius there. trying to work his way up to second with one of the mother chassis cars, and they are all in start order.
All behaving incredibly well. The first two getting away, we thought, with no ballast, the Baguette Nakajima car from third place on the grid would have a good chance, but it's holding everyone else up behind. So for the first two cars, the Motoyama and Izawa, Nissan and Honda, they're getting clear. The blue Honda giving chase to the pole sitter, but I think indicative of the fact was you can't see over that crest on the start straight. That's probably why the first few, it was sedate. The rest was still blind as the lights went from red to green. A very clean start by the pole sitter.
I think that's exactly it, Bruce. And of course, the Epson NSX, which is in third position and started in third position, which is that one with 0 kilos of ballast on board, is the only car on Dunlop tyres, and maybe he's struggling to bring those Dunlops in. Well, in the GT300 class, we do have a bit of a battle for second position.
Nothing happened.
That little Prius. This
it's literally added.
Favours the hybrids who can switch on the boost in certain places, and that is a hybrid in third position chasing a non-hybrid car. So that could be quite an important thing. Well, that's a hybrid in the lead as well, but let's see if this Prius can make the move on
not
that
auto.
mother chassis.
Do 480.
GT86 is going to have a rundown into first corner, and I'm surprised he didn't make that stick. And
doesn't look good,
he's going
but
to
it's
make
alright.
it work into second corner.
But then he's on the wrong side for third corner. I thought that was all there because turn 1 and turn 2 are so closely interconnected.
The Japanese VOD with no English. Alright, sounds good, Cohen. See you, my man. Yeah, I don't think we listen to Japanese. I don't think that's
a good flow at the inside. I think he was probably a few feet too far back, but for the pole man in GT300 and the CRZ, looking very good indeed. He goes through the S-curves, a little wide on the exit, so he's really trying to make his escape, and looking very good indeed. Behind it, super close, very impressed. Everyone's behaving so far, and we'll keep an eye out for what's happened to the Ito Rossiter car in the pits.
Well, that Prius, and in fact the entire GT300 field does seem to be held up by that VVAC GT86 in second position at the moment. The Prius still struggling to find a way past, even with the hybrid boost. Then the first of the GT3
I have
cars
no idea what
in
my
the
music
fifth
stream
position.
is going
That's
to be.
the Lamborghini
No
and
idea.
the Ferrari, they're still holding on into their
There may
positions.
not be
That
one
is
tonight.
actually
We'll
good
see.
for those cars. The Subaru BRZ JAF GT300 car.
This may serve
hanging
as the
around
music
in the
stream.
background there, but one of the cars to watch in this class always, Bruce, is the little Lotus. We haven't seen it up the front of the field yet, but that car stays out forever on its stints. It makes its tyres last for such a long time, and I think we could see that car just strategy its way into contention, as it always seems to do. But this should only be a one-stop race, I believe.
So, race leader in GT300 again got the advantage down to the first corner, and the pole starting Motoyama Yanagida Nissan GTR going very well in the lead and starting to edge clear of the chasing Hondas, and really untroubled at the moment. Conditions perfect, clear track, of course. In not so many minutes we'll start a bit of lapping, and that's where it gets interesting. There's a big enough gap, I reckon it's a couple of seconds between first and second for him to choose his moments, and he'll have the advantage being the first one through. There's a little chicane that gets used occasionally to lengthen the lap.
That's
in
motorbikes.
For motorbikes.
It's
very
for
tight
motorbikes.
for cars, but adds a bit more mile to the lap. So pole starting GTR down into turn 1, no trouble, and now the third placed Honda has managed to make a bit of a break on the pack behind. In fact, the whole field really stringing out, certainly not like it did at Fuji or Suzuka.
I mean, that's the nature of this track, Bruce. You'll see that happen, but when they get into the lappery, you'll see, because it's quite difficult to overtake, as we see Heikki Kovalainen getting past a very heavy Calsonic GTR. And you'll see the difference there, the weight makes. The Calsonic's just really got nothing in response to that. He's just dropping further and further back because he's just fat with weight, to be honest.
Yeah, so he must really love going into 110R, which is the long right-hander that leads up to the hill to the start-finish straight. Must just be feeling all that sort of avoirdupois holding him back.
Exactly. Now have a look at these Hondas in second and third position, Bruce. They're not on the screen at the moment. They will reappear any moment. The blue Honda, the Raybury car, I believe that is, he got a little bit loose at the rear end, and now I think this might be a little bit of the Dunlops are beginning to come back up to temperature as that's Ito and Rossiter. Yeah, it's penalty now. That must have been for pit speeding, because this race is really just turning into a disaster.
Yes,
for
it might be sunny, but for them, it's when it's raining, it's pouring, isn't it? So that is a really, really bad start. But good news for everyone else who's lying behind them in the championship. So,
exactly, but those cars like the Calsonic GTR, they
just
are
got
also
10-second
having
penalty. That's
a race
brutal
to forget. And there you go. He's lost the lead lap and some. I think it's probably 2 laps down now. So one stop here because the pseudo circuit
downhill from here.
Quite short.
All right, perfect.
That will punish you when losing the lead lap, and if a safety car comes out, that can be crucial.
Looking at the battle for 5th place and beyond, the Sasaki Krum GTR at the front of that came from nowhere to win a couple of rounds ago at Fuji. And for Krum, that was his first win for, was it 11 years?
For quite a long time. I don't think it was quite that long, but it's been a while.
First place is destroying, 3 seconds ahead of everyone.
Really, you can see how the field's bunching up behind, but he doesn't have to do too much. He's a second and a bit down on 4th place. They're the Hondas we're talking about. Wait for a clear shot of those, because certainly the Baguette Nakajima car that started 3rd, the Epson sponsored car, is closing in.
Now I think he was.
Or is the other one falling back?
Well, it's one of the other. I think the other one may have some rear grip issues, but I think the Epson NSX may just be bringing in his Dunlops a bit more gently, trying to make them last a bit longer. He's got no weight on that car.
I got you,
so
Mr. See you, my man.
It'll be
Have a great night.
harder with less weight to get the heat into
Boy,
the tyres.
I don't
But
know,
once he's got the
Sphinx.
heat in, they should last a bit longer because it's not going to work them so hard. So I think he might be playing to his strengths.
Yeah, the roads will be
Wait
great.
until we get to
Exactly.
like
Now,
lap
in GT300,
like
somebody else who
70,
seems to
and
have
I'll
lost a bit of
guess who's
pace
gonna win.
He's the leader in the class, and 2nd, 3rd, and 4th position, all closing up on him. No sign of those GT3 cars in 5th position. There they are. They're being gapped quite heavily now. That's the balance of performance coming into effect. But I think you'll see that Subaru BRZ getting those 2 GT3 cars in not too long. This race has been deemed, I think, one for the Japanese-built cars, not one for the European-built cars.
100%. But yeah, interesting that CRZ number 55.
Bet you a Japanese car is going to win for
background
this.
there.
It's not a
Seemed to just have it
European
under
car.
control for the first 3 laps. Maybe he just went very hard early on. It looks like the problem.
Don't even know what that means, but I agree with
0.4
them.
of a second at the start of the lap. I think it's going to be less than that as they come up over the crest on the start, finish straight under the Dunlop Bridge, and then get into the view of the fans in the grandstands. They can get the flags out. There could be an overtaking manoeuvre here coming down into turn 1. Let's wait and watch, and he's certainly got momentum.
He's going very defensive up the inside, but as we've seen, other people have tried this. He's now, it's not going to work, but that's opened the door now for the Prius to get stuck in. I think there may be some either tyre trouble or actual proper trouble for that Honda in the lead, and that little Prius is going to be on the case.
Man, they're like right on each other, bro.
GT86 in not too long, but I think that's the Wed Sport GT86 with those very distinctive yellow wheels in 4th position, so the Prius has also got to watch his back. This is a good 4-way scrap for the lead of GT300.
Well, it is. I think GT300 is just fantastically interesting. Just look at that chassis variety, that car variety at the front of the field, and the CRZ is being given a bit of a reprieve as the Subaru's hunted down for 2nd in class, and we could have a comprehensive change here any second now.
Oh boy.
Going around the outside, the end of the back straight at horseback corner.
This is close, dude.
Sam, get it wrong there. You're coming back on horseback.
2 seconds behind.
Wait,
Wait, where's the leader at?
Very difficult overtaking.
This is the back of the pack or the front?
Battle at this
front
time
right
where
here?
you're both attacking and defending at the same time, it's going to be incredibly hard to get past without any contact. Look at these long corners. You can see where the racing line is, and look how long this right-hander is. There's no way to get round there, so you have to think about going into the brilliantly named 1st and 2nd corners. And we'll see that Honda go defensive. He's pulling off. He's pulled. Yeah, he's down on the side. And that has changed the lead.
He gets the
Well,
inside.
that was really quite a strange manoeuvre from the class leader. I thought he
Takes
just
the
had to hug
lead.
the inside, because on the outside of the first corner, you're not
Man.
getting past, but Delight up on the pit wall there. So the CRZ out of the lead, and the Subaru topping GT300 now. I think we'll see that pull away, but fair bit of understeer there.
Gotcha.
As he went into 3rd turn, and now through the S curve. They're rising up to High Point corner, but already clear gap between the 2.
Well, confusingly, that's one of the Subarus that's got the Toyota badge on the front, but it's very easy to make that mistake because they are exactly the same car. Though, confusingly, in this championship, the Subaru BRZ is completely different to the Toyota 86, even though in reality they're an identical car.
Thank goodness you're on top of it. Now we've got a Mercedes SLS in the way of that battle for 5th place, and still the Sasaki Krum GTR, the black and green car, one of the most identifiable ones in the field, that took victory at Fuji 2 rounds ago. Bottled up here.
That wasn't nice.
Big car to get past an SLS Mercedes, but should have been a bit more space for him to go. Now onto the back straight, and more GT300 traffic up ahead, but no problem at all for the Krum Sasaki. Nissan.
Bro, the dude just flashes
powers
out. Okay.
past, but what a stream of cars.
Is that a strategy?
He has to go somewhere through the kink, so he's going to stay on the right-hand side. But for the Krum Sasaki, Nissan I think through it, clipping the grass on the
I'll be so for real, I do not
right
understand
at the end of the
racing
back
at
straight
all.
into horseback.
I think the Honda CRZ.
It's crazy though.
The headlights are
a second
off, which
behind.
usually is an indicator of something
Oh,
not being
gets
quite right in
gets
the electrical
passed.
management system of a car in this championship. But the Prius has now just made very easy work down the start-finish straight of that Honda, and it looks like the 3rd place Wed
Some
Sport
cars are slower than
of
others.
that
Like I don't
Subaru
understand
as well,
how.
the Toyota is
Like,
going to make it very easy. A
racing
short time of it as well.
works
There
exactly.
is another Mercedes. He's got his indicator on stride. He nearly shuts the door on one of those GT500 cars. This is how hard it is to overtake at Sugo. You've got to earn a position.
You certainly have, but also you could so easily take out someone from any battle that's coming past you. It's so tight at certain points on the corner, on the circuit, and certainly into first curve and second curve. So easy to block someone's battle. You might think there's a 3-car pack of GT500s coming past. You haven't noticed the 4th one.
Well, when we get this, here come the GT500s actually right now, and there is that little Lotus. They are rapidly closing on the battle of the GT300 lead, where we have those 4 working very tightly together with the CRZ dropping through the field. Now, they are going to get super aggressive when they see the GT500s coming through, because they know that's their opportunity to make those positions, particularly if you're the Prius, if you're Honda wanting to fight back, or if that 4th place Wedsport BR GT86. I'm going to be doing that all the race now.
Now I put the seed in your brain there. You see 1.4 seconds between first and second, and the Kunimitsu Ray Brigg Honda NSX is closing. Lost out slightly in the traffic there, but it will ebb and it will flow. But I think this the blue, there you can see the blue Honda in the background, 1 car between it and the race leading Nissan, the silver and red. Motoyama Yanagida trying to buy Mola.
My man is within like 2 feet of his car.
There was the bright blue, or mid blue I think we call it, NSX going down the inside. So busy, TV director almost doesn't know where to look. At every corner there is
Gotcha.
5 or 6 cars.
I think that's going to be the shape
I
of the race
gotcha.
to come actually, Bruce, because this nature of this really small track is that it's going to be full of cars pretty quickly, and there's constant lappery going to be going on. There is now the leader going past what the real Subaru. There's only one of them, and there he is. Works run car. There it is. Beautiful Subaru BRZ. That's built to the JAF GT300 regulations. They're now up into the GT300.
What? He almost just hit him.
Yeah, he's in with the sort of European cars, with the Lamborghini and the Ferrari. Made his way through very tidily, but in fact, just before that, the blue Honda closed in and now has lost out again. He's 4 cars between him. So that was a very, very good move for the pole starting GTR. And yes, exactly. I think you put a camera into any pit garage and the driver and going to be looking and sharp intake of breath. Is their driver doing well or not? It's
exactly.
One or the other.
And that's Takuya Izawa, who last year was racing in GP2, not with great success, got replaced by Matsushita-san.
Snap!
This year, but he is still
a lot has switched.
Young stars.
What happened?
He's in the blue Honda that's running in 2nd place, but that wasn't a good lap for the car that he'll be taking over from Yamamoto.
So confused. What just happened?
No, this is only lap 11 of 81 laps of this Sportsline Sudo circuit. Live and full and uninterrupted and all of those good things here on Nismo TV, as will be the Blancpain Endurance Series later on. So
Sports Car Fest, World Endurance Championship from Kota. This and then Blancpain, it's all over.
Yeah, it's
fabulous.
It's a busy weekend, and there's some Formula 1 thing going on as well that I've heard about. Apparently might be happening.
No, that was last weekend at Goodwood.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, right. That's what I'm confusing. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, well, it could be quite good for the Infinity cars in that series. And we've got trouble there, and that is one of the GTR. It's the run-up GTR, the black car. And
we're going to rewind.
Introduced it to a wall, and that will almost certainly be a safety car. Double wave yellows at the moment, and he's certainly redesigned the front end. That's not going anywhere, mate. You've killed that. That's what the marshal's saying. And let's have a look to see what happens. And he's already lost it way back there. And big chunk of barrier.
Straight into the wall.
They do this long-winded barrier repair process you see in.
You know that did not feel good.
They won't bother, because this is Japan and they do things differently here.
So that looked as though it was coming out of turn 2 before they got to turn 3, just behind the paddock.
God, it doesn't look like they're going to throw the safety car then, so that is a surprise, because they're getting fairly close to the track there, but
just put a blanket over it, that'll be fine.
Well, we have the VVAC mother chassis GT300 car getting blown away, as expected, by the S-Road.
Passes him.
Mola GTR. That's the leader of GT500, past the leader of GT300, and there is the Prius hunting down that mother chassis.
GT300. Okay, is that the GT500 in front right there?
Lap or 2, we've almost doubled the lead in GT500. You can see the blue Honda in the background trying to pick its way past, but a couple of laps ago it was a few car lengths behind, and now it has really lost out big time. It could work back in its favour again later, but it looks so for our pole starters, Motoyama Yanagida in the Mola Nissan. They have clear track. That's a bonus, and it won't last for long. You can be sure of that. Down through 110R up the hill it goes. And there's the second place Honda. Yes, again, it always seems to have a Mercedes in front of it.
There's a lot of these Mercedes in the series at the moment, and I suspect a lot of them will be replaced. Now, what are we seeing here? That is contact there between the Calsonic GTR and the B-Max NDDP. So that's the Works Back Nissan Driver Development Program GTR hitting one of the Works Back Calsonic Nissans. That's going to
Which is nice, and that was at High Point Corner, but I suggest not the high point of their race.
No, they will get a grumpy phone call from one of Darren Cox's colleagues from that one, I think. And that is another Nissan losing out, or about to lose out there, from Heikki Kovalainen on attack. Bad qualifying there for that red, white and blue Lexus. He's working his way back through the field and has a lot of work to do. He's picking on all of the cars that have got lots of ballast, such as the Motul Ortec GTR there, which won't be able to supply much resistance to this very lightweight Lexus.
No, but that said, with the twists and the turns here at Sugo Sportsland, you've got to pick your moment. You can be stuck behind it for 3/4 of a lap before you can find a place to make the move stick. Throw in the fact you could have a whole gag of GT300 cars. That was a wheelie. You don't see that often in racing.
It was more than a wheelie. That was full of airborne. He's hit the
That
Zensarumo
didn't
teammate
feel
there.
good.
So that was pretty.
My man went airborne for a second.
A rather enthusiastic Heikki Kovalainen. He's got the Petronas car, which
you know,
should be quick.
Some
on his
unpleasant
tail,
words were just said there.
He's opened the door for it. Yeah, he's not having a good time with that. That car was all four wheels off. And I don't mean off the track, I mean off the ground. That was good airborne. I'd like to see a replay of that, but he's going to be feeling that in the morning.
Yeah. He wasn't that far wide, but he hit the curb. But it seemed more than that. It was, I think, past the end of the curve. He then hit. Yeah, let's wait for a replay.
So what happened? So he gets a bit loose on the exit. Run down the curb.
And then slides and then just.
He's broken the left front.
Ding!
It was when he went beyond the curb, the runoff curb, and hit the grass. It had to be because the curb couldn't have been that violent. But so his fillings are now rolling around in the footwell of the car. Dental work required, and you'll see the Petronas car coming. He let him through at the next corner as he sort of regained equilibrium. But that was a big shake-up.
It's actually Kohei Hirati at the wheel, not Heikki Kovalainen. We didn't actually get a list of starting drivers, so if we do get that wrong, I do apologise. The starting drivers list wasn't distributed to us before the start line, but we normally work it out.
GT500
if you're enjoying this
is in the
racing,
lead.
hit the subscribe button. There is Heikki Kovalainen. See, they are listening to us.
Hey guys, listen to him. If you enjoy the racing scene right now, hit the subscribe button and the follow on the Twitch channel.
Finn. He was like, it's quite funny. A bit damage to the front of that Denso branded Lexus there as he's working through the field as well. Yeah, if you hit the subscribe button at the top of YouTube, you will get lots more of this loveliness, and the more of you do it, the more likely we are to be back next year, because we've only a few races left. We're coming in towards the end of the season, and
I get it with the plugs, man. Okay, jeez Louise.
Before the first year of Class 1 racing, Bruce, and this is the new thing that Masaki Bando has spoken a little bit more about. Bando-san is the Bernie Eccleston of Super GT, if you like. He runs the GTA. He used to run one of these GT500 teams, which is why you hear the name Wedsport Bando quite often, as the gap at the front is
that was almost an impossible shot. We had 2/3 of the back straight with only one car in it.
Yeah, I know.
Where were the rest? And that was our race leader, so he's sitting on a very tiny advantage. Motoyama really enjoying the form. He had that clear break.
So it's like Viva C is in the lead for its group, and then
still
the GTR is in the lead for its
group. The lead battle in GT300. It's so super close.
That's really close up actually. The Prius has actually come screaming back up to it, and I'm not quite. He must have lost it in traffic. That Vivac MC86. That car sat on pole, but it didn't sit on pole. It was second on the grid, I believe. But the Prius was a long way back, Bruce, and has come straight back to it. Well, while we keep an eye on that before the Prius manages to throw himself off the track, which he seems to be quite intent on doing, I'll discuss a little bit more about the Class 1 announcement that came out just a couple of weeks ago.
Where they're driving so close.
A challenge event between DTM and these
GT500
cars at the end of the 2017 season. I was kind of hoping it would be sooner than that, but it'd be the end of the 2017 season. There will be a shootout between DTM and Super GT. Now, where that will take place, we're not sure, though it does seem to be
me driving on the highway
to be held at Fuji Speedway.
Well, I mean, that's absolutely fantastic news, and like you, I wish it was brought forward. While you were just talking now, sharp intake of breath, there was contact before they got to the Dunlop Bridge, just going up, there was a little kiss, and I thought, I was just about to say, they're 3 abreast, Sam, we've got to... And then the car that kissed just edged away again. I thought we were going to have spinning over the brow, which would be lively, more than little lively.
No, I was keeping an eye on that as well, and it was that was one of the
Lively.
real, I think, elements we're going to have to keep an eye on this race is this working through traffic with a track that is just very hard to pass on because
How
of
do
this,
I play it?
It's not really a stop-start track; it's a sweeping,
You
flowing
gotta
track,
figure
which
that
makes
one
it
out.
very
Alright.
difficult to overtake. It's narrow.
Just wing it.
I mean, it's seriously narrow.
You
this
wing
track.
it. That's how.
I mean, that is the point, and I think a lot of people would make moves, but you just simply, there's a little kink just around each corner. There's somewhere where the curb comes in on you, and you've got to decide if you want to go for it. We've seen Hirati going for his 4 wheels off because he decided to keep his foot in over the curbing, but he was in a run of 5 cars, didn't want to lose position, didn't want to lose momentum out of Rainbow Corner onto the back straight, and paid the price.
Oh, wow.
Not a big price, but
Prius is
he
right
suddenly
behind
lost a position and
the GT300.
And as
Or-
cars get out of position,
Just kidding.
we've got
The
that Petronas
Viva C.
Lexus there hanging
Very
on
close.
quite happily because it's clearly got the pace. We don't know what that
Not say
problem
that
was at the
right.
beginning
I'm
of the race.
sorry
Then
for
it got
that.
a penalty for pit lane speeding. So he's hanging in there, but he's actually not in contention. But he could be a bit of a spoiler, making it very difficult for anybody coming up behind them to get past. So he's almost playing a tail gunner role for Zensarumo. But as you see, the Denso-backed car, which is a lap ahead of, at least 1 lap ahead of the Petronas car, working his way back up as well. So it's a difficult one for everybody concerned. And they can't just do this on pit stops unless you're the Lotus, which will stay out
Imagine
forever.
being 24th and a
Forever,
full
but I mean,
minute
the timing
behind
of
the
pit stops is going to be
front
absolutely
car,
crucial
dude.
because I mean you're really going to
That
have
is
to have a
tragic.
good spotter for your team because there are great gaggles of cars and you don't want to be at the backside of that.
Well, somebody's looking at his own backside. Will be that Vivac Mother Chassis 86, who, but at the same time, looking in his mirrors is the Toyota Prius, who is trying to get the lead in the GT300 class, while at the same time trying to let the Calsonic GTR get through the field. Now, you can really see how sluggish that blue Nissan GTR is at this race, with that enormous ballast penalty. Well, the good news for them is, with the final 2 races, the ballast is reduced to, I think, completely wiped out to the last race of the year, the 250-kilometre race, which is just a flat-out sprint.
Yeah, I can tell the
That
track is tight.
going
I can
to
definitely
be
tell.
a tough break for that car.
Brooklyn,
But
you
look
gotta
at those
figure that one
gaps, how
out.
that's
I
doing.
am not the person to
2.1
ask.
seconds
I've
on
barely
lap
played it.
11 between the Mother Chassis 86 and the Toyota Prius. And it's gone down to 2 tenths, then back up to 1 second, and that is the nature of traffic. As well, I think we saw contact there between the McLaren and the...
You mastered your mind.
And
Well,
from Sasaki.
Yeah, that's
Nissan.
Sasaki's Nissan, isn't it? I was trying to remember
Yeah.
the name of the team, and it just escaped me for a moment. This is the team, of course, that is very keen to run at Le Mans, and even ran on Le Mans test day with a Reka in those colours.
Bro, that
Combo
blue
team.
car is just trying to
Indeed,
pass
yeah.
right now.
So again, at the end of
Woo!
the back straight, you get down to
Almost
horseback
slid
corner
out.
and it tightens up, and these 2 corners that follow are called SP in and SP out, and as you pointed out earlier, that means spin and spout.
Exactly. So, while they
could call
spin,
them
we
terms
will
9 and
spout.
10. Yes. Spin and shout, perhaps.
Well,
So
apart
it suddenly worked very well for the Sasaki Kondo Nissan. You can see the green and black one going over the crest of the hill, past one of the SLS Mercedes from the GT300 class, and has shaken off the chasers. That's been right on his tail for 10 laps or so. We're now nearly 20 laps into this race, 19 on the board. And that's the battle for
I have no
5th
idea,
place.
Brooklyn.
But
No
out
idea how
front,
to
our
play
pole
it.
starter just
be so
enjoying
honest.
life big time. And
I
that's the
barely
Merlin
played
Nissan
it.
GTR.
I'm not good at
Motoyama
it.
starting that car when Yanagida will take it over later in the race. As you said, Tam, one pit stop race here.
yeah, it's going to be a bit like one of those. You've probably done them, Bruce, one of those little corporate karting events you do. Some late night in the autumn when it's freezing cold. You and another driver go out with various people you don't know, and you decide just everybody stops about halfway through the race because
So,
that's,
Sphinx,
everybody
why
gets
do they
150
flash the
kilometers each,
lights?
something like that. That's basically what we're going to see.
Why do
in
they do
this
that?
race. It's going to be, expect lots of pit stops around lap 40, unless you're the Lotus. It'll probably stop on lap 60 or something like that.
Unless you have a statistician, a tactician like Paul Truswell running your team, and you come in on lap 23.
He's
The
almost
flashing of
certainly
lights.
tuned in and jumping up and down, shouting at me
Not
that we're
23.
wrong. It'd be 23.5.
Do your pit stop before the start of the race. So great conditions if you're just tuning in. We're a quarter of the way through the 6th round of the Super GT Championship. 2 more rounds to come. We've got Autopolis and then
We're in
Mercedes
just-
in November, both in November,
Oh, okay.
1st and 15th of
Gotcha.
November. But right now it's 4 abreast down the start-finish straight into turn 1. And, pushed wide.
Oh, and Kondo Racing Crumbs lost it. He just lost that position. He got
Inattention.
unsighted, yeah. I thought that battle was going to come back together, and Oshima took advantage, and Crumb now is under huge pressure there from the Wed Sports Lexus, who looks, he's all over the track as well. It looks like they are really getting a bit desperate to make a point in these cars now. The Wedsport car side by side with the Kondo Racing GTR and has got past as well. Is that trouble for Kondo? The tyres beginning to go,
Well, you do wonder. I was just saying that for the first time, what, a lap ago, that they've actually made a break from the others. It's come back at them, and they've lost 2 places in this no time at all.
Well, here comes the
Is there
Drago
a problem?
Well, here comes the Drago Modulo NSX, which we haven't even seen as a feature on the back of the Michael Crum-driven Nissan GTR there, and that is a real surprise. And well, they don't look too surprised. Well, that's not their car. Is he saying he's in second? I don't think he is.
No, okay, we're going to keep an eye on the Kondo black and green Nissan because it's had a
Ask if I'm confused. I am absolutely confused. I'm just watching racing at this point.
Further position.
Yeah.
I'm more waiting for a wreck. I'm just going to be completely honest.
The driver's getting it wrong, and again that rare shot where we have almost clear track down the back straight coming out of Rainbow Corner.
In fact, that's a good illustration of the top 4 cars in the GT300 class. Now there is the third and fourth. And then behind them in the distance, you can see what you could call the peloton, the big gaggle of GT3 and JAF GT300 spec cars running around behind these 2 groups of 2 up front. Now, I think it's spaced itself out a little bit.
8 seconds ahead is the S-Road GTR.
Round in their lappery. This is something trustworthy to look out.
Close.
If this happens on lap 20, this should probably happen again on about lap 40.
There's one, I believe, soon.
And that would be a good time to make a pit stop.
Alright.
No, but then that ruins your understanding of the race. You have to stay in there and
because that means
fight with the spirit.
But they will be able to all stop at the same time.
Exactly.
But will they come out and then find all the
Exactly.
GT300 gaggle? So maybe you want to stop on 50 or 30.
Yeah, retain the pattern or break the pattern. So, EMC still leading in GT300. Now, it's been plain sailing for the pole start. We haven't seen him for a handful of laps because being chased very hard
Hold
in
on.
the early
Hold on. Sorry. I have to do something over here real quick. Hope you watch this. Sorry.
stages of the race by the Izawa Yamamoto NSX, but broke clear and has been sitting on a comfortable lead, and precious little has changed out front. Traffic has sucked it in and out a bit, but it's looking very, very good indeed for the Mola Nissan GTR.
Well, there is the
GT300.
points leader of the GT300 car, Andre Couto, at the wheel of his GTR. Lots of ballast on that car because he's done so well, but still not faded back. GT3 spec car, and is third, if you like, in the GT3 class, but that's a long way down in the GT300 class. How fast are these GT300 cars? About the same speed as GTE Pro and WEC, maybe slightly faster actually.
Yeah, I wonder how many GTE Pro drivers would fancy racing around Sugo. They'd have to work for their living around here. Certainly, if you think the tracks they get loose sent out on, much bigger places to go out playing. And this is a very different equation at Sugo. And I think it's a great little circuit, but I can really see now, just looking again at that Krum Sasaki GTR, is it losing ground, losing position? I'll have to check, but I had to get it to a foot. Yes, we had the one slip up, but it was what happened straight after that slightly concerns me. The car that came from way back to win 2 rounds ago at Fuji, but not kind of success palace, of course, that all the other front runners are doing.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you have to look for, is that the nature of this Super GT racing is that it's engineered to never be a consistent dominant performance for any one car type or only one team, because they have the success ballast formula and in GT 500 the fuel flow restriction to make it just sort of work. It's a tyre war class as well, so some circuits the tyres work well, as with the Lotus nearly gets into a GT 500 car there. And of course it's multi-class.
Mm-hmm.
So
Oh yeah, full screen is very nice. You can actually see it.
Though I have to say, the press release from the organisers before this race said it would be a good race for the non-GT3 spec cars in GT300, and they also said it would be a good race for Honda in GT500, so they seem to know what's going on.
Well, it's good to have a script.
Yes.
Definitely.
So it's not, there may be DTM rules cars, and it's not DTM, but you have a complete script.
Yes. Draw your name. Right, there's on the screen you can see, from 8.6 seconds to 9.5 seconds. So a second gained in 1 lap by our race leader. Was that traffic? I'm sure it was. But again, a comfortable lead that's looking more and more comfortable now. The Zent are in the thick of battle. It's getting very... The real racing at the moment is over sort of 4th, 5th, 6th, or 5th, 6th, 7th.
Well, the one to look at, there is trouble. That must be trouble for Bertie Baguette in the third place Epson NSX, because he just got passed by some GT300 cars, and there is a Subaru BRZ about to go past. So Well, yeah, there. Oh, now what's
Oh.
happened? Has he hit something? Has a tyre
Oh.
failed? I see a big puff of smoke coming down the start-finish line. No, that is the expiration of. No, is that the left rear tyre or is that? No, I think that must be the left rear tyre or the expiration of a. No, it's not the engine. So that is the tyre's gone.
That's right rear tire.
He seems
Well,
to
no,
have-
there was smoke from the front.
I'm very confused now. Is that the? It doesn't seem to be slowing enough for it to be a tyre failure, but. If it was the engine that had gone pop,
slowed somewhat more. But so this was running around in third place. We thought it might come up because, of course, carrying no success ballast whatsoever.
there
This
is
is a
still
car that-
smoke coming out of that car, Bruce.
But it seemed to be coming from the front when he was over the straight. But we saw that big puff as if he got the long shot looking down over under the Dunlop Bridge on the start-finish straight.
No,
But
I thought it was the right rear tyre had let go, but now looking at it, it seems that that smoke is coming from the centre of the car.
Ooh.
That is from the exhaust pipe, Bruce, I think.
Ah.
I think that is the expiration of another Honda racing engine, but there is grass in the right front duct at the front of that NSX, and I wonder if he's cooked it.
Well, let's see. Peeling into the pits, as you'd expect, it was this very point, just going over the brow there onto the start-finish straight, where we saw the first puff of smoke. So the Baguette Nakajima Epson NSX into the pit lane, started third, running comfortably in third position, and we were reckoning with the lack of ballast on that car. We were going to see it coming sweetly up the order as its tyres were less exhausted through the course of the race.
Well, it's lucky I don't put any money on my own tips.
Think of yourself as having gained some money by not doing so.
Yes, exactly. Gambling very popular in Japan, but you can't gamble
Yeah,
on
no
GT.
kidding.
Not one of the approved sports for gambling in Japan.
His motor is
They have
gone,
very
bro.
few approved sports, but it is still a very popular activity. Now, what are they going to do to this number 64 car?
Well, they're just going through standard procedure for a pit stop, which is what will always happen, but nobody... Well,
Nobody
the pit
seems to be
reporter's having a
looking.
look. Well, he's looking at the back. That's good. That's where the smoke came from. Nothing from the front. Looking again for the damage. You can't see any damage on the front end because the mechanic's standing in the way.
It
The car's
didn't
up on
look
the jacks.
completely like a tyre failure, did it, Bruce? I mean,
No, it didn't. No. Okay, well, that's the one we
Well-
thought might have failed. But
Well, that's got air in it.
yeah.
Let's have a look at the right front. That had air in it.
But you couldn't tell from the front-on shot if it actually...
Oh, and it looks like... Oh, was that damage on the right front? Was that delamination, perhaps?
Well, I think you could be right, but...
Maybe we bought some Pirellis instead of these Dunlops. No, I can't actually see anything obviously wrong with the
The
tyres.
windscreen wiper's working a little bit.
Now, what's
No,
going on here? It's
you
not
pointed out-
firing.
yeah, no, the tyres are great, but I've got no engine.
No, there was an engine, we heard it.
Got it going, so smoking
It's
away
still
again.
smoking away, isn't it? Oh, well, that was a bit weird.
That is a real mystery. So pit stop on lap 25, which we were joking earlier would be would be an interesting tactic. Of course, that's completely out of sequence. So Baguette Nakajima started third, running third comfortably so, and with no success ballast. We expected them to really make progress as the others found their tyres under the greater curb weight of their car still
still
smoking.
There's something distinctly
it's
wrong
gotta
with
be
that Epson NSX. That is not a well Honda. They shouldn't have sent that.
No, they certainly shouldn't. I'm surprised. We seem to just have the regular crew just doing the regular things, but they-
Oh, and that's a
Oh.
car that's not doing a regular thing. That is the that's the Motul Ortec GTR. Sugo Matsuda losing it there
you don't want to do that
in
because
the
that's
shade, and
high
that, he
point
was lucky.
corner, and you're sideways across the track. We talked about.
Oh,
Oh!
that's not good.
Oh!
Oh, that's really not good. I don't know what's happened there. I think that Honda's dropping oil. That's what's happening, Bruce.
100%. So they'll.
Huge accident there for Kohirati. He's
Oh.
clobbered the barrier. Well, he's not going to be driving that one away. He will be taken back to the pit
And
on
the curb in
horseback.
the background was where we saw that very same car
Yeah.
getting all four wheels in the air.
That
So-
Honda is spreading oil around. We're going to see a
Thinks
safety
that's
car. That's
wild,
what that board's
bruh.
showing, I'm sure. There you go. That is the SC. And I think everybody is going to pit once the pit lane opens. They do shut the pit lane, and this will be a fairly extended safety car period, so it is a good time to stop. Now, what happens here? He takes a tighter line coming out, tries to make a move on the Zensarumo car.
Oh, it's nothing to
it
do
wasn't
with
oil.
oil.
Oh, that was
So take that,
hugely
Charlie.
aggressive
Shit.
defence by what
Push.
is meant to be a friendly car.
Oh!
Oh, dear, he
Well, I
was
think that-
forced off there.
That is words in paddock afterwards, and well done to those behind getting past. A fair bit
Yeah.
of debris on the track, but that was.
Oh, boy.
That could be a much bigger accident.
The spin could be down to oil out of Kovalenen's car that with Hirati on board. We saw just out of High Point Corner, but what happened on the back straight? Very, very much. Pit lane closed
Yeah.
during the safety car period. That was pure aggression, I'm afraid.
Well, Heike, you can go off and find those girls you pictured yourself on Twitter with earlier on, because that will be what you have to do today, because that's the end of your race. Absolutely right rear,
Well,
right front, completely destroyed on that Lexus.
Well, I think Yuji Tachikawa probably hasn't got a feather in his cap for that performance down the back straight.
that was.
Oh yeah, his race
hugely
is
aggressive
absolutely
driving.
done.
That was
Swerve plus.
Oh, he is
Yeah,
out of
exactly.
there, bro.
And well, he's almost completely blocked the track, and we will see everybody come to the pits as soon as the pit opens, apart from maybe the little Lotus, but even they, I think, with 12 laps to the perfect pit stop. Now let's have a look at this down and watch the red Zenturumo. He makes a move on the NSX. Now, he's trying to pass that NSX, I think.
Like he just
No, that's not. No, that
no,
was a block.
that's totally
He
intentional.
had to go around the NSX, no problem with that, but it was the way he went further and further out.
No, yeah, he was trying to push him off the track there.
And particularly on another Lexus.
That's wild.
That's not just strong words from.
Oh, that's bro. My man's about to
driver.
throw
I think it's
hands at
very
that
strong
point.
Words.
I'm just gonna walk up to him and start absolutely throwing
ripping up
hands.
of.
I don't think they do that so much, but they will. They might send you to GT300.
Yes, 1 year back.
Yeah.
So, the S-Road GTR leading the race. It was last time we saw the gap.
Bro,
it was
I know.
Just about 10 seconds over
That
the
is
neighbouring
crazy.
NSX. The car that was running third, of course, was the Epson Honda, but then that had the problem. We didn't know what it was. We weren't sure if it was tyre, weren't sure if it was engine. It made a pit stop. We had the tyres changed, fueled.
What does it
and
do?
went
Just
still
standing there
smoking,
doing
not
it.
going well. We
He's just
thought it was
watching
putting
it.
oil
Oh,
down
he's
for
trying
a
to go
spin, and
fast.
then this crash on the back straight.
And I don't think that was entirely down to because they don't have tyre warmers in this championship, so some was a very slow out of the pit, but there was still smoke coming out the back of that. So
Yeah.
I think that was a sick Honda. We'll find
Well,
out.
he had trouble firing it up as well, unless that was just a simple get on, and.
But it did,
Yeah,
it
grabbing
did fire.
debris.
It sounded crisp and clean.
Gotcha.
Perhaps it's like the Peugeot I drove to the studio today in Bruce, that it sounds
mode.
fine, but it goes limping everywhere.
So if you're just coming in, the safety car is out because Kohei Hirati, well, I think we won't beat about the bush, was pushed off the track on the back straight with ramifications, hitting the barriers very hard indeed, scattering debris on the downhill back straight of the circuit. And the pit lane is still closed, so the cars have to continue on their way, and leading, as it has since the start of the race, was the Mola Nissan GTR's a 10-second lead, but of course that has come right down to nothing. There will be traffic in the way, GT300 cars between that, but the Zent car we're looking at the moment, unfortunately,
we are
was
lagging a
part
little
of the
bit.
party.
Well, I think the TV producer actually is this is the accusing stare that you get when you've done something naughty, and the TV producer is doing that with the cameras at the moment by following the car. There is the driver of that Denso-backed Lexus. He's fine.
Well, they've cleared the car off the track
he's
very
fine.
well. They've got the debris off the track, and obviously
He's
being
not like
checked
90
out,
miles
but
per
that
hour
was
into
Checking out
a
his hair, dude.
side
That's what he
railing.
was
Yeah.
doing. Look at the hair he's got. He's,
it's a bit down on the right, but there's the tattered, battered car, which already had been four wheels off in the air in the background of the shot, handful of laps earlier. It's been very close. That's the very nature of the Sugo Sportsland circuit. You get these groups of cars now. Why are they forming them up on the start-finish straight? And now they're letting them go, and they're resorting the order.
They do this, yeah. They do this to shuffle out the GT500s from the
Oh, yeah, no
from
links,
the
by the way.
GT300s.
I forgot I had Nightbot
Okay,
on.
they've done that, which is fine,
Twitch.
because obviously if you, the groupings around the
Did you
circuit
exclamation
do need
point,
to be sorted out. So there we
exactly.
have
Discord,
an array
it
of
should
cars.
work.
They did this at
I
Suzuka and
think.
made a complete horlicks of it, frankly. So let's see if they get it better
The
this
man
time.
with Nightbot.
Little moment to talk about some of the cars in GT300, which
More like
is
121
safety cars,
feet.
will take a little while.
Gotcha.
Some news of some new cars for next year, which should be quite interesting. I've
you
been
tell?
tipped off, I've been tipped off that there has been a purchase.
A chase.
Not perhaps fully processed as yet, but the idea is that we may see a Viper in this championship next year in GT300 or in the very similar Super Taku series. There is a Viper destined for Japan, I've been reliably informed.
A Viper
Viper.
that exists and race at the moment?
The GT3 Viper, yeah, that was slot straight into this class. So there is a suggestion that that car will be heading to Japan. Other teams, one of the teams that's currently running, I forget which car
The
it
Chaos
is,
is
but
about to
they're
have
not going
perfect.
to buy the new BMW. Whereas Team Study definitely is going to have a new BMW, but whether that's GT500 or GT300 trim, it remains to be seen.
They're all
There
just
is
having
still a
fun at
chance
this
that they
point.
will run a DTM spec BMW in this championship next year. So that'd be great to see. The guys in the pink McLaren rumoured to be.
Did you just
talking
brake
to
check all of them?
Pacific Racing, as they are nothing to do with Keith Wiggins, are talking about upgrading their car to a 650S specification.
It looks like the
rather
dude
than
just
the
brake checks
MP412C,
all of them.
because, well, frankly, they've been rubbish this year, so they need to do something different. In the GT3, the JAF GT300 cars, a bit of bad news from my point of view. They are outlawing cars that don't feature engines in the original position of the production car. So, in the example of the Prius is mid-engined and the CRZ is mid-engined. You're not going to be allowed to build a car like that anymore because everybody's decided that it really is a bit silly.
Stretching it a bit far.
Yeah, so those cars will be allowed to continue, so they're not banning the Prius, but they may balance its performance quite heavily against it.
Oh, I got
to
you.
put people
Okay,
more in
gotcha.
favour of
Thanks,
using the mother
gotcha.
chassis cars than the JAF GT300 cars, which I think that's a bit of a shame in some ways because I like the mad engineering freedom.
Hold on. Here's a replay. We think of where it went wrong for the Epson. No, it's just 3 abreast.
That's 3 abreast. He's on the grass.
On
That's
the
a
grass.
good move.
So there's the puff of smoke. That was just from
So
being on the
that's
grass.
where the grass got
That's
into
just
the front.
dust. That's
Yeah.
just dust we saw in the background. But now the car is in the garage, and we saw.
I think
on
what's
the
happened
pit
there,
wall,
Bruce,
Nakajima.
what happened is he went up on the
Oh,
right-hand side,
okay,
put 2 wheels
gotcha.
on the grass, and I said that I saw
Gotcha.
that the right front duct was
Had grass in it.
packed full of grass. I think he's cooked that little 4-cylinder engine. These Hondas are still a little bit prone to overheating, and I think he might have cooked up that engine and caused himself a few more issues.
Gotcha.
Well, it was
Okay.
smoking at various points around that following lap, wasn't it? We were looking for tyres going down.
Yeah, no,
Didn't
I
see
think
it.
that was
Came
more
into
than
pit lane.
tyres.
Oh well. Anyhow, what we can tell you, it started third, and the baguette Nakajima.
Bro, imagine the
entered
dude
Honda
at
NSX
first who like
is in
had
the
a
garage,
giant lead,
so
now has
the car
nothing.
Really had earmarked to come through.
Like,
from
he
third
literally has
place.
nothing
Pretty much
now.
We expected because overtaking is
Like that would
a
just
work of
suck,
art around the
man.
Pseudo Sportsland circuit. They were running fairly much in grid order. In fact, first, second, third, and fourth were exactly as they had left the grid. But for the
Like you were a
race
minute
leading
behind,
Mola,
like the last
GTR, it's
dude.
lost a 10-second
All
lead.
9
It's
seconds,
all
bro.
come back down under
Like
the safety
the
car,
dude
but
in
car
last
that we
place,
really
who's a
thought was
minute
gonna go
behind, is
forward,
now
running
like
third, looking very
30
comfortable
seconds.
in
He's
position,
made up
is now
30
sadly
seconds
in the
because
pit
of
garage.
a
And I'm
crash.
sure you're right, Sam. I'm sure that is an engine that's cooked.
Now, I'm looking at the Nismo pit lane cameras, which you can actually, if you're on Twitter, you go and search for the Japanese Nismo channel, which I think is, I forget the actual
That's
Twitter handle
so
on that, but if you
irritating.
search Nismo, the normal Nismo at Nismo, you will find the links on it to that. Now, you can find that the Japanese version of Nismo TV has pit cameras. You can view the Nissan Nismo garages and what's going on. And you can see a few people on those garages at the moment preparing for their pit stops. Whether they will make them anytime soon, I'm not sure, because the pit lane is still closed. But I think you will see all the 500 and 300. It's going to be a bit like NASCAR, actually. They're all going to dive in one go. And it's going to be the race off pit road. We just need an orange cone and it'll be all perfect.
It's going to be very confusing for the flag wavers in the grandstand. They're going to have to be right on top of their games this lap. Still, as you can see, the crash car on the back straight being cleared up, waiting for the flatbed to clear it away. But
And
for
they're-
Hirati, that was bad luck indeed. He's okay, but the car definitely not.
Well, there we just saw on the screen a little moment. I do wonder if the TV director is actually listening to us, because that was exactly what I was talking about. The S-Road Mola team out on pit road waiting for the race leader to come by just as soon as the pit lane opens. So that'll be an early stop. But it's the right thing to do on a track like this because you can stop without the big penalty. Now, we see the GT300 cars working their way up through the field. So they've obviously been given a wave-by of some sort because they saw the CRZ's lights flashing as he works his way up the pack. I'm not quite sure why that is. Normally they do that shuffling on the start-finish line. Are we going to see a start-finish line shuffle now with the GT500s going down one side and the GT300s going down the other? Let's wait and see what happens.
Well, let's see if the little CRZ goes past the black and green Nissan. So, hold on, word from the TV director. Yeah, Sam, could you tell him he's going to win? He just wants to, get the cameras in the right place.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nice. Intercontinental communication there. But the Mola GTR, we can tell you, is at the front of the queue, followed by the NSX that started in second place.
And looking there down on pit road, it does only seem, now I saw activity on a couple of the other Nismo garages, but it looks like there's only 2 or 3 crews on pit road at the moment, but I think they're just a bit keen.
Okay, good news. The flatbed has picked up the Hirati car. That certainly will not be racing.
Is that car called a Fro? I think it is. A blue car there, look. The Subaru Outback Fro. I need one of those in my life.
Fast rescue operation.
It's the Fro.
Oh, no,
Making it up as we go along.
I just need that car.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
It's never raced or rally?
Exactly. Well, not much.
Not much. Got busy. So, up through the S-curves again at safety car speed. Pit lane is still closed. That's the signal we need to look at most closely. And if any team's not awake, they haven't got their crews ready. But as we saw from the aerial shot a few moments ago, only a handful of crews out on the pit apron, shaking their gear into place.
I think they're just the ones who are a bit keen. I think you'll see everybody pit here. Now we'll see it next time by. Actually, pit lane is now open. There is crud all over the track there. So that's one overtaken position.
Oh, there's a marshal running down. Hasn't got a broom. I don't know whether he's got some cement dust or something.
I don't know what's in his hand.
Packed lunch.
He's just running away. Yeah, oh, he's got one of those. Yeah, he's one of those witches' brooms. He's got sending him out on his own. And now he's waving his hands at the cars.
Bit of a shame that wasn't done when the another marshal. So you do need some cones in place. You talked about the use of orange cones. And the drivers will all have clear sight of that dirt, so they know well not to get onto it.
No, well, the orange cone probably got drowned at Chicagoland yesterday in that deluge in the NASCAR Sprint Cup qualifying session. And here we go. Look, now we've got a full pit road. All we need is the waggly sticks, and it is going to look like a NASCAR race here any minute, as absolutely everybody.
This is where chaos happens.
Perhaps even that little Lotus.
I'm so ready for this.
This is going to be a race of pit stops now, Bruce, because we are going to see positions change depending on how fast these pit crews can be. There's no chance of short filling the cars. They've all got to go the same distance, so it's going to be down to how quick you can change your tyres. You know, a tenth here, a tenth there in a race like this is going to make a difference.
Right, there are two choices really.
Yeah,
in this lap or in the next lap.
I saw the comments.
5 laps.
It's got to be this lap.
Got to be this lap.
Got to be
well,
this
the
lap.
front cars have to come in this lap. So.
Yeah.
For the moment,
unless you're going to do something
leading
really
around.
odd. Unless you wait till lap 60 and hope there's going to be another safety car period. But I think we're going to see the whole field peel off now. Let's have a look to see who goes around to lead a lap. That is the top 3, 4, 5. Is anyone not pitting?
No, absolutely
the
everyone.
Entire
oh
field.
boy!
No, somebody's staying out. I can't see who that is. I think that might be someone who just wants to go around and lead a lap. That was the Petronas car. No, I think the Petronas car and the Drago modular car might have stayed out. Oh, that's not the way to do it, lads. You've got your wheel spinning around. That's not what you want to be doing. Take your foot off the throttle. He lost a bit of time there.
A strange tactic. He was sitting on the tyre that was about to go on.
They always do. That's the way they change stop, because there's no tyre warmers on it. They find that's the quickest way to do a stop. I'm not entirely convinced by that approach. But
now the Raybrigg NSX is lined up very well. They have to
there's not space.
I'm not sure
this is going to cost people time, because they're going to have to get these tails turned around. If you get the car in your pit box straight and you can drive straight out, but look, the Enios car can't get out until the Keeper Tom's car gets out, and that is going to be absolutely. Well, that's going to define things as it
what
goes.
you really don't.
What the heck just happened?
Get out until the Keeper Tom's car gets out.
Okay, so this apparently
dies.
dies.
To be absolutely. Well, that's going to define things.
This is not me, by the way.
What you really don't want during the course of
there we go.
a race where you've got the whole field coming in is such a short pit lane, such a narrow pit lane. So, was it a good tactic for the 2 GT500 cars that stayed out? Maybe that was a good tactic. Maybe at a circuit with a longer pit lane, they wouldn't have done that. They would have all come in. This is a natural time to pit. But just looking at the cars,
having to happening?
Some diagonally, some not. Major problem. Just seen
that was the race off pit road. We've just missed it. Just cutting back there, but there's trouble for the Zensarumo car. It looks like he's caught fire in the pit lane. That's what was causing the interruption to our feed. Now look at the traffic jam there in the pits.
Oh boy!
The Motor Tech car a couple of positions. They can't get the cars out. Look, it's the pit lane's too small. That's the GT300 class leader. I think he's just lost the class lead because his teammate's in front of him. The S-Road Mola GTR
that is
out on
tragic.
That fire, I think, that we just missed was what the little interruption was. That actually is where our signal is beamed from.
They just have one dude blocking everything at the front.
These guys can't get out. So if these guys can't clear the pit lane, they can't get out. The safety cars coming in, they're not going to be able to get back round, Bruce. These guys are losing huge amounts of time.
Now, hold on.
The Lotus came in as well.
Yeah, we need to have clear identification of which 2 cars from the GT500
on his way. There was the orange cone, and he's just hit it. That will be a penalty there for the Arta NSX. And look, here comes the field. That's the green flag. They've lost a lap. All those cars queuing up in the pit lane have lost a lap, Bruce.
That's so sad.
You had to gamble here. And those that have... complete change of order, and some, I suppose, divine situation. The car that caused the shunt.
Why aren't they moving?
Why aren't they going?
Why aren't they going? So they got a red light at the end of the pit lane because it's just gone green. This is terrible. The entire GT300 field. That's
Okay, now we're getting people
and the safety car's back there. Yeah, the safety car's definitely in because it's the back of the queue there.
Okay, and at the back, we just saw one of the SLSs
That is
in the
tragic.
GT300 class making its pit stop, having done a further lap. That will be 2/3 of a lap gained during the course of that. So that's really fantastic. Okay, the car that was leading the race, just come back. The car that was on fire, let's cover. That was the Zent Chirumo.
That was the Zent Chirumo Lexus
car that caused the problem on the back straight.
No, but his team's got out. So was it a fire? There's certainly problems with that car, but he's back out on track. But he has lost a huge amount of ground.
He's lost a lap and a half, if not
So
two
much
laps.
chaos.
So
Yanagida now at the wheel of the race-leading S-Road Mola GTR.
Fifth
He
is
got
20
in
seconds
and out
behind.
without too many
10th is a
dramas, but
minute.
That all kicked off and we missed the actual detail of it because that whatever happened to that Zent remote car did interfere with our signal. So I think it's fairly major what went on in the pit lane. That is where our transmission goes from at that point of the pit lane.
That
so
is
it's quite a difficult
brutal.
one to work out, but that was very lively. I was watching the pit cams while that was happening, and there was no trouble for that S-Road Mola Nissan, but in GT300...
Less than a second, 6 seconds and then 30 seconds. That is not how that should look.
Having stayed out for further lap,
Yeah.
while the others were trapped, it's coming to make its pit stop. Number
That is
22
tragic.
in that class.
As a driver, you're so mad there.
Of
You're so
Masashi
mad.
Wada and Masaki Yonai. But we'll see if that stays on top. But it should. Any of the ones that stayed out will have gained huge amounts of track time.
absolutely.
They'll have gained at least half a lap.
But have they gained half a lap on this, the Vivac mother chassis car, which was, well, it was second position and leading the race at one point. Now, we haven't seen where the Prius rejoined. We haven't seen that in the background.
Background
There
is the SLS that's leading the class, I think.
And then you have the pink GTR, who paints a GTR pink, and then you have the pink McLaren. Equal
Who paints the
comment.
McLaren pink?
Exactly.
There you go.
Now that
So we need
NSX
another lap until, but just the sides of the pit lane there, it appeared to be empty. I think
Wow.
everyone's done their stops on one lap.
The
or
GTR
other.
is
The
still
answer
in the
was
lead,
one was the better
but
lap to make your
the
pit stop.
2.4 GT300 leader is
so they came in
completely
together, and
changed.
there's now a 2.4 second gap. That's just. Oh, and
Oh.
there goes that pink GTR now. Obviously, he didn't like what we were saying about it because he's driven off the track. And
Embarrassment, I
race.
think.
Yeah, Itasha.
So, before the pit stops, our pole starting Motoyama Yanagida GTR was 10, 11 seconds clear. They've had the pit, it came down to
Oh,
nothing behind
boy.
the safety car, made the pit stop, and is already pulling away.
Woo.
2.4 seconds advantage opening out. Just waiting for GT100,
And that
300
GTR
order
was
to change as well.
That GTR, I think, was the one that was second in its class. He
Wow,
has not
Viva's
stopped.
now third.
The VVAC mother chassis car is, with one stop, is in third position, which is first overall. The Manipa Lamborghini Gallardo made a great game.
Yeah,
on
he's-
the
even though
Prius
he's
up
first
to
for all the
fourth,
stops.
As the BRZ, which has dropped
Oh,
right
shaft,
down the field
okay.
to ninth position, gets in the
Well, he's
race
still
in GT300
first out of
class.
all the people who have already had.
Yeah, well,
So
that
it's
was
a-
our race
stop.
leader who was
Yeah.
getting almost swiped. No wonder he's so heavily on the headlights there. Yanagida wants to pick another one off, not before the next corner, because horseback corner is not really a point for overtaking.
It's a complete reset of the GT300 race now, and I think that is going to be a thriller to see how that pans out, because there's some fast cars out of place. Now, I didn't just quite pick
2
up where the
seconds
CRZ
behind.
ended up in all of that.
All
He's
of them have
fallen
had a
back,
pit stop.
but that is just a complete muddle on pit road. I think perhaps on a pit lane that's
Yeah, I got you.
The organisers need to have the GT500s and 300s stopping on different laps, because that was...
But it also depends how they're spaced out along the pit lane, because if you've got all the 500s together, that doesn't work. But
No,
if they're
they're all-
interspersed,
they're
Bro,
all
they're
mixed
doing
up,
fourteen.
which is fine, then yeah, I do think you have to have that
How?
rule, because it's a short pit lane. As you
Oh
can see,
my
the cars
goodness.
are as wide, if not wider, than each of the garage spaces
How
they
is-
have. No wonder
They got laps.
we had some diagonal
Gotcha.
parking, but unfortunately, if you have the car at the front of the train blocking the way, as we
Jeez,
saw, the pit
dude.
lane just became jammed and cars were stationary, and cars don't like being stationary with the engines running, and drivers
But like,
even
who
more
number
so.
13? He's
That
been
game
lapped
back
and
to our
he
race
has
leaders.
yet
Next
to have
few
a
laps,
pit
we're gonna
stop,
see a
dude.
lot- He should get clear air fairly soon.
Like, that's embarrassing.
Because of course, if all the cars
being
came in
hunted.
together,
He's being hunted,
they're in,
Bruce.
he is certainly being hunted. It was 2.5 seconds. It
Embarrassing.
came down to 2.3, and I can tell you what, looking at the screens, first to second is down to about 0.4 of a second, I'd reckon, at the moment.
I think this is either down to different drivers, though in the GT500 class they're all pro, so there shouldn't be an issue with drivers getting up to speed. It could be that the Nissan is just taking a little bit longer to bring in those tyres on that car, and the Honda is getting the tyres up to temperature a lot quicker. And when I say a lot quicker, I think that's the description of the speed of that
Wow,
Honda. He's going to be
0.4.
passed in a minute.
He's coming through the final corner up 110.
The
Now he's up the inside,
5.9,
side by side with the
15.
GT300 car. But by the time
5.10.
we get to start-finish line, we'll have a change for the lead in this race. The blue Honda noses into the lead, and so for the Mola GTR fighting back, but he's on the outside line, and you can't go round the outside at turns 1 and 2. So change of lead. It looks so good for the Mola GTR, but now
the leader has
we
been
have
lost.
up into first place the Kunimitsu
Oh my
entered
goodness.
Honda NSX. A great delight. Izawa
Ray
Yamamoto, the leading
Brigg.
pair now. Will they pull clear?
No, I know. That's the Zara was almost on the radio looking across the.
I bet you Viva's
the
going to take
Monaco
that
going,
lead back
see ya.
whenever they go in for a pit stop.
He just blew him away. 2.5 seconds.
And actually,
in
maybe not.
a
If they
couple
do
of-
it fast enough.
I mean, you know, one of
Like
those
10
seconds could
second
easily
pit
come from
stop?
traffic, but in fact
You
they've
could
now
maybe
got clear of the
keep it
groups because, of
clean.
course, all the cars came together. So it's a
You've got
big
30
glut.
seconds
They're
on
ahead of
They
it.
didn't have much traffic.
They
Bruce.
didn't.
Oh, the red car and the blue
Oh.
car, which is mandatory in this championship. We say this every single race, every time they were there having a race and getting a bit physical between the two of them.
Oh,
A little bit of
they-
bodywork damage that happens if you clash another car. Nothing serious, just a bit of under fender. But I'd like another look at that. We caught that.
Happened.
Very good.
So
Down
the
into
most-
turn 3.
It's that Ronnie Quintarelli at the
Oh.
wheel, just getting into the back of the Calsonic car. One of the most
Try
popular
to cut
cars
him
in
off, and the dude was like,
GTR
nah, bro.
Line up in GT.
Nah, you ain't cutting me off.
Classic paint job, blue paint job, but.
It does seem to be a rule this weekend. You can only clash with cars of the same make.
Yeah,
Did you notice
exactly.
that?
Well, these two cars have got some history. They've got some form. Every single race, Bruce, these two cars have a little bit of a. It's in the regulation that these two cars have to run around the track together and have a bit of excitement between them. Even if, like now, both of them have got such heavy ballast because they're both very strong in the championship. You've got last year's champion there, the Motor Lawtech car, which was the aggressor this time, and taking on the Calsonic car, which I think is probably in the top 3 or 4 of the championship at the moment. The championship leader, of course, having a nightmare race, that Lexus.
Gotcha.
Not featuring, but the
No.
way things are going, I mean, he's lost so many laps, even now he won't get anything back. The Prius is up to 5th position. That Lotus, which did stop, is in 8th. The Arta CRZ, one of the big losers, 1 minute 18.4 off the lead, Bruce, down in 10th position from, leading the class. That is a terrible development. Then look at all these cars that lost a lap. The McLaren, the SLS, the R8s, the 458, which was battling for the lead,
It was always
has
in the back-
lost a lap.
It was always in the background of the shot, wasn't
Yeah.
it? It was
Wow.
running in 5th, 6th place. Super safe, and that's down to positioning
Green
in the
Tech
pit lane,
is
I'm
doing
afraid. When the
awesome
pit lane
right
became
now.
blocked.
That's exactly
all
what
the
it
plans
is.
They're
out the
going
window.
crazy.
Well, the Manipa Gallardo, which is now second in the class, which we're looking at
Okay.
at the moment, as
So
it's very close to another
Astro GTR is right
He was
behind.
line astern with the Ferrari. Different positions in the pit lane. the
Okay,
Ferrari's
yeah,
on
that's
the
what I was
back.
thinking.
That's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
the
the blue
way
one
it
is
should
coming in.
be.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, I
not
got you.
gone well, and there will be some
That's what I
really
was
stern
figuring.
questions asked of the race director at the end of this, but that pit lane moment was just a little bit excessive. Now, we'll wait to see if there is going to be a penalty for that Arta NSX for taking out the cones
Taking out
as
the
well.
cone. Interesting thing to me, just going past a bit of debris in the track, is Izawa got into the lead in the NSX and he is not pulling clear in the
Like-
Raybury
Yeah,
car.
that's-
Oh,
but then he
snap.
closed in so quickly.
Viva
he's
passed
got clear,
Duan.
But we thought it
Wow,
was going to be, he
Duan
was not home and
sucks.
hose, but he was
Yeah.
just going to go off into the distance. Don't
Like,
know
the
if there
dude
was
hadn't
some
had a pit stop
traffic
and still got
blocking him.
passed
I
by
don't
someone
think
who had a
so.
pit
It could
stop.
just be the case of tyres coming in as a fault, Bruce, but I'm not sure that is the case. I expected him to go scampering off into the distance and be gone. Now this is the first time the
Looking
Honda
at
has led
this-
in the
oh,
dry
okay.
this year, I
Yeah.
think, and the Hondas have not been particularly strong.
Well, okay,
Overall.
let's see what Izawa can do in traffic. Round the SLS,
Yeah, but
no
I'm
problem
not
at
sure
all.
we have
Yamagita,
to
who had been closing in again.
Keep our eye on the S Road
Slight delay,
GTR.
has to go around the longer run through 110R onto the start finish straight. Minor delay, but the gaggle of 3 cars ahead. The NSX picks it off very nicely over the top of the hill. Izawa puts that. Which is it? The sound was slowing there. I think it was just a foreshortening shot
I
from
think it
camera,
is.
but he's lost out with traffic big time. He's now got the 4 cars between
He's
he and the race leader.
almost
So
2
what
seconds
had
behind.
come down to half a second
So
is now definitely going to go out. So the Raybury NSX gaining hugely over the course of just the positioning of
Yeah.
traffic. Maybe that's how it came down so quickly, and what has been lost has been gained. And through the S curve
He's gone
goes
now.
Izawa, and he's gone because in the background of the shot is the GTR. He's picked off 2 of the cars. He's coming out to
0.5
High Point
seconds
corner.
in traffic.
Down the inside goes Yanagida, but he has
Gotcha.
lost a lot of ground there.
3.1 seconds.
Whoa. That really has yo-yo. So he'll pick
Wow,
off the
Viva's
SLS down
catching
the back
up, bro.
straight, But Yanagida will be absolutely cursing his luck. But I think maybe it's on sheer speed again.
Viva's
I think
catching
what happened,
up.
I think the Raybury NSX got into the lead and just was slightly delayed.
Yeah,
If you
Because
get like a
he's
sub
got the pace to
20,
catch up super
like
quick,
make
and
up
now he's
10
gone
seconds
and one of the
somehow.
issues here, Bruce, is the GT300 class
And
is really
then the
muddled.
dude
I
has to
couldn't
go in for a
work out
pit
why
stop
the
earlier.
Prius was
Oh boy, it's
battling
over.
around the
It's
cars it was
literally
battling
over.
because I thought he's not behind one of those. And of course, these cars are the cars that lost the lap on that weird restart, but they're now running around with the cars that are about the same speed and the cars they should be racing with, but they're on different laps, and it's a real mess in GT300. So you've got this
This is
SLS, which I think is for position between the Prius and the SLS. We're seeing in the background.
Yes, when you're writing a script for
True,
a race at Sugo,
true.
the last thing you want to do is
Very
shuffle
true.
up your GT300.
That
from-
pit stop's going to
they've
make a
got their
big
natural
difference,
pace, their
depending on
natural
how
speed,
fast they
and
can make
shuffle
it
them
go.
up, because that provides just such a difficult scenario for the race leaders to pick their way through, because you've got people who are back, the faster cars coming through from past the slower cars, blocking the track. Our race leader there, Izawa, going very nicely. He seems to be getting the run through traffic. You have to look at some distance back behind the blue Honda to spot the second place Nissan. In the background of the shot there, he's caught up a little bit again through traffic. He's got to get past the BMW.
But he's just losing a position now, Bruce, to the Manipa Gallardo, I think. But the Manipa Gallardo, I think, was ahead of him on track. This is where it's... Yeah, no, there you go. He did. That was the Dijon GT3. That was the...
28
GT3
seconds now.
losing position to
Viva's
Manipa
catching
Gallardo.
up.
And closing up on the
27.9.
Viva 86. Now, the
Like a
Green
second
Tech
lap
SLS
around.
is back there somewhere.
Which if he can
now.
do that, I mean,
it's
he
just
makes
terrible
it
for
up.
some of these
But
cars.
did you
Even
see
if-
the size of the lead for the
He's
SLS?
getting there.
20
Yeah,
plus seconds.
Still 40 laps left.
and that all
That was
came
all down to the pits.
That all came to that was a weird pit stop because
He came in a lap later.
he came in a lap later and was not held up for that half lap that a lot of the cars were, but some of them, it's disappointing for me in some ways because we were getting a good scrap going, and I think the organisers are going to be grumpy because that's the scrap that was going was the scrap they wanted.
Yes, and there were enough cars in
Well,
that.
that's gotta
scrap
be the
that
most,
even
like,
if one dropped
dude,
out, there was still plenty out there.
Like, it
playing,
doesn't
and
look
they'd
that
been
difficult,
so
but I know that
even
it's so
around
extremely
the course of, well,
difficult, dude.
the first 30 laps of the race until we had Hirati going off,
So difficult.
with a bit of an assist down the back straight.
Well, there's the Team Impul crew, the Calsonic crew, and well, they don't look too happy, but that's because their car weighs about the same as the battleship Potemkin, which is being thrown around with a boat anchor hanging out the back. It's got so much ballast on it. Well, there is the car that should be the GT300 class leader,
That is second.
but is second because the car, I think, in the lead of the class still hasn't stopped.
Yep.
Is my understanding of the current situation in GT300. The GreenTech SLS, I think, still owes us a visit to that very tight pit lane.
Sorry, you're quite right. I called that wrong. It was a different SLS that I saw coming into the pits.
Oh,
in the
yeah.
background.
Viva's
With
making up
Tally, 'cause
time,
we had
dude.
We've never worked out quite how many stayed
making
out
up
for that extra
time.
lap. When
No, the
pit
camera
lane
cut away
opened.
at the wrong moment, didn't it?
We
But-
could see, well, we actually saw two, but they were GT500 runners
Yeah.
continuing on their way. The GT300 would have been out of shot, and then, of course, all cameras focused on the pits, and we couldn't see who continued. But clearly, the Green Tech SLS Mercedes did stay out longer, hasn't come in yet, is leading the class.
Now, if the Green Tech car, if there's another safety car in the next sort of 5-10 laps, that's going to be a good move for the Green Tech car because he will be able to get in and get out as long as he's got enough fuel to do it. Get in and get out
easily.
before
Easily.
he loses a place. And actually, if there's another, there won't be that schmozzle in the pit lane anymore. So because all these guys have stopped.
Oh,
Everybody's made their pit stops. We're going to be running flat out to the flag.
Well,
And,
25
a
to
lot of guys, like
35?
that little Lotus we just seen
Jeez.
coming over the brow.
I did not know they were that slow. I thought they were faster
They've
than that.
lost their strategic advantage now because they had to make that stop and they lost it. Now here's the Calsonic car in for a penalty.
Was that down to the blue car, red car clash?
Well, I'd be surprised if it was because I said that was entirely down to Ronnie Quintarelli, but that's a strange one. Look, there's the damage as a result of that clash. And I think that was a bit unfair to give him a penalty on that one. Maybe we'll have to see that again.
I would like to see it again. I mean, the door was half open. Half a chink, a quarter of a chink, but it's on a corner you don't overtake.
I thought
So
it
you
was-
shouldn't have to defend the
I
line.
thought it was hugely
fast.
aggressive, and this is a car with huge ballast on, and well, it's going wrong for all of the championship points. This is exactly for us watching. It's great because it's tightening the championship table up right at the top massively. So we should get a good run in to the final race of the year at Motegi. We've still got to go to Autopolis before
Let's
that,
enter and maintain
which
wise.
is a track that
Gotcha.
I've
I
never watched the
figured.
race on.
So, I mean, just for
before.
safety and everything.
But with a test coming up at the end of this week at Motegi as well, Motegi
That
should
makes
be
sense.
the one to watch. That will be a great shootout. Everybody will be flat out. I believe it's a no ballast race, so it's a no holds barred 250 kilometre dash. The cash and the championship points for that matter as well. And that, of course, like all of these races this year, will be live on Nismo TV. So hit subscribe, and you will get that, and some Blancpain, and all sorts of other loveliness.
Oh my goodness,
the guys at Nismo TV. Brilliant.
Bro, that's wild.
Yes, in what is a golden age of sports car racing, from the World Endurance Championship down through the, well, not even down to the Super GT.
Oh wow,
Super GT
he
is
kept his
something
lead.
Runs in parallel, very, very different. And
So
of
the
course,
GTR,
the GT3 series
5
around the world
seconds,
just going from strength to
but
strength. Blancpain.
Green Tech still
60
has
odd
the
cars at the
lead.
Nürburgring this weekend. Just
Interesting.
phenomenal fields in the endurance series. Not so strong at the moment in the sprint series. And yesterday they just announced a 10 race program for 2016. 5 sprint, 5 endurance, mixing around and matching.
I missed the calendar actually.
Matching it a bit. Those are the announcements from Stefan Rattel at Nürburgring. Need a little more examination to work it all out. They haven't got all the definitive locations of all the rounds as yet, but most of them are in place. But good to see just these really, really strong bases in Europe and elsewhere around the world.
Oh my goodness,
Super
people are
GT,
switching right now.
Series and
that's
so technically interesting, and certainly for the fans of Honda, it's their chance to see their car in the lead. It hasn't been a good year for Honda for the reasons you explained earlier, Sam. But right now,
this is about the only championship. Well, you know, it's not just in Super GT where Honda's been weak. Honda's
What
been
the
very
heck?
weak in Formula One.
What the heck happened? I looked away for 2
documented. It's not been
seconds.
particularly strong in British Touring Car Championship, one of their big series, or the World Touring Car Championship. That's not gone too well for them as well.
What
And IndyCar,
happened?
Again, seem to be slightly off the pace of the Chevys.
Hold on, hold on.
So this is
Hold
perhaps the beginning.
What in the heck just happened? What did I just miss? Oh, I'm sorry. We have to go back. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to rewind. What in the heck? Okay, so
really,
Green
really
Tech's in the
strong
lead.
bases in Europe and elsewhere around the world. But Super GT, it's a standalone series and so technically interesting, and certainly for the fans of Honda, it's their chance to see their car in the lead. It hasn't been a good year for Honda for the reasons you explained earlier, Sam. But right now,
This is about
What the heck? What? Hold on. Wait. So, this dude's now in first place, and the next best is 2 minutes? What the heck happened? Now they're 2 minutes behind. Like, I'm so confused. Wait, what happened? Like, it cuts off for like 10 seconds, all of a sudden they're 2 minutes behind. Huh? Sphinx, what am I missing? What am I missing? Definitely traffic or penalty serving? Oh, that's okay. Let it keep going. I have no idea. I am lost now since both of them just switched very quickly.
about the only championship. Well, you know, it's not just in Super GT where Honda's been weak. Honda's been very weak in Formula One.
Not reacting to it at all.
Very well documented. It's not been particularly strong in British Touring Car Championship, one of their big
Behind
series, or
now.
the World Touring Car Championship. That's not gone too well for them as well. And IndyCar, again, seem to be slightly off the pace of the Chevys out there in the USA. So this is perhaps the beginning of the Honda revival, but as we say, it was in the pre-race notes that the mid-engined Hondas might go quite well on this flowing Sugo circuit. Not very
They're
stop-start.
2 laps behind?
Not perhaps so likely to go so well on their home track, their second home track of Motegi at the end of the season, but Autopolis could be good for the Hondas as well, particularly as it may well rain down there.
What the heck just happened? How are they back? What? So you're saying they snap their fingers, all of a sudden they're 2 minutes behind. They snap their fingers again, all of a sudden everything's back where it was. TV director error. Okay. Alright. Okay, alright. I'm starting-ish, not much, but
In
trying
the
to
south of
understand.
Japan
Alright.
in that race, and the weather conditions
Getting
do
there, I
look a
think.
little bit unsettled in the coming weeks.
as well, I remember the first time I went to Fuji, it was also November. The 2 final rounds were in November, and we had a typhoon come through and damaged some of the pit garage. Well, they were pit tents in those days.
Wow.
At part of the pit lane at Fuji, and we were praying the rain would go away. And I remember on the Sunday morning opening the
Eva's
curtains to my hotel
25.
room,
Okay,
seeing
so
Mount
Green Tech
Fuji
still has not
loud
taken a
and
pit
proud.
stop here.
Beautiful blue skies.
Oh,
and
so
Viva's made up a lot of
racing.
Hoping
time.
that Fuji wasn't loud because that's really bad for an active
That's
volcano.
actually-
Racing in the
that's-
rain
yeah.
is
No, it must have been
terrifying.
some-
Oh, he's back. Oh, that's,
We talked earlier about it doesn't rain, but it pours, and
Well, I think
we
that must
thought
be-
it was just the Tom's team earlier, but
No, I think that was pit lane speeding this time, and now he's stalled it. Oh dear, it's all gone terribly wrong for Calsonic now.
That
On
is
Twitter, I was chatting to
funny.
a big fan of that car earlier on. Well, that's not gone
Most likely
so
doing a
well
one stop.
for
Oh,
you,
okay.
unfortunately.
he's
So
waiting.
That's the Calsonic car getting a massive
And then
kicking
it's
in terms of
committing to
points.
one, while the
Here we
others
go, though,
still
looking
may
at the
need another
GT300
one.
battle for 7th position. That is the Subaru BRZ. First time we've really had a good look at that. Taking on the Gainer GT3 car, and I think not long till he gets past. But on the tail of that, there is the Raybrig NSX. That is the race leader working his way through, and behind them is the Lotus.
and there's still that great piece of debris.
Wow.
sitting on the track just
So the
outside
Esper
S-curves. They've all seen it
GTR
by now, but someone in the heat of the
is
battle
now
is going to forget about it.
4
and run over it.
seconds
But,
behind.
the NSX,
Wow.
Yeah, Raybrig NSX doing a very good job picking its way through. But just talking about that Subaru, the BRZ, suddenly looking far more wieldy. Certainly had far more handling through the tighter corners early in the early sequence of the lap. So I think you're right, Sam. I think we will see a change of place. And annoyingly, after that GT300 shuffle, it's only in the battle for 7th position, though.
I know.
Should be
Well,
way, way higher.
Well, if you look in the background,
Is it
behind that little
Esper?
Lotus Evora
Hold on.
GT300 car, the mother chassis
Hold
car,
on, I need my
is the
where the
CRZ
heck
that
who
set
people
pole
are
position.
again.
Sitting back there, he lost vast amounts of time in that pit stop, got stuck behind his GT500 teammate and couldn't get out. His GT500 teammate then came out and clobbered the exit cones. We haven't seen a penalty for that yet, but I expect we will see one. But we could see that CRZ now beginning to close up on the field. Is that the Ferrari back there as well? Couldn't quite tell now. I think that might just be his teammate in the 500 car, but there is
Bruh,
a
give me my
Ferrari 458 that's
statistics.
been running
That's
quite
been
well.
like basing half this
in
game
this
off
race
of, or the
back
race
there.
off of.
So yeah, that is just the GT500 Arta Autobac's car.
But it's also worth pointing out that going back to the CRZ, it was on pole in the GT300 class and was rocketing clear for the first 3 laps.
And then yeah.
hauled in, dropped back to 3rd place, and then the whole picture changed. And then, of course, we had the complete shuffling of the order with that dreadful, dreadful pit stop for the team. And what a nightmare. You know conditions are going to be tight. There in the background of the shot, well, we have both of the cars from the same team in the shot, but the CRZ's the one in the background. It just has lost out big time. But my interest would be, why did it lose so much ground after the first 3 laps? I just thought, well, that's its race.
I think it must have been tyres.
Brett, where are my
It brought in the
statistics?
tyres much better than its competitors. Got away from the line as that's just a Raybrig car working its way through the 300 cars. It got the tyres up to temperature, got them into the sweet spot, got away 3 laps, then reached that point where the tyres are at the level they're at the best level they're going to get
Right.
to. Then the
They
guys
just won't
behind him
give it
got
to
their
me.
tyres up,
Alright.
and they just came galloping up behind him, and that's cost them.
But has that been something that's a feature with the cars like the CRZ? Very, very different from the others in terms of the way they're put together with the mid-engine, and
Not
they get the
really.
heat into the tyres better?
Not necessarily. No, it's more because it's not the only mid-engine car in the class. You know, the Lotus is a mid-engine car, and that never seems to qualify particularly well, but races very well on its tyres. I think it's down to the different tyre manufacturers how it brings its tyres in on that car on those tyres on that day. Brings tyres up to a point, then it might take some of the others to bring their tyres in
Top
a little bit
10
longer,
gets
but then the
points.
tyre
Gotcha.
reaches a higher, better working range, and then they can mug him. Because 1 lap pace is very different to 3, 4, 5, 10 lap pace. And that's what we're seeing playing out. Well, the GT300 class, if you haven't gathered by now, if you're listening in on Nismo TV, is, well, it's a bit of a mess.
Bit of a shake-up.
5
In
seconds.
GT,
Esper,
in GT500 hasn't been so effective.
the Esper
basic story of the
GTR
race
is
the
kind of
Motor
losing
Nissan
some
GTR.
time.
Motoyama
I'm not sure he's
started it,
climbing back
handed
up,
over to
'cause he's
Yanagida,
dropped
but
some.
Izawa Yamamoto, who were some way about a dozen seconds behind before the safety car closed right up.
Okay, now
Lost
he's
a bit
at
of ground and then
4.9.
gained really, really fast. And
He's
Izawa's
kind of sitting around
taken
that
the lead
like 5
in the
seconds.
Raybrig Honda NSX,
And this would
pulling clear.
And this means a lot for young Izawa. He is Honda's, was Honda's golden boy until he didn't perform particularly well last year in GP2.
Gotcha.
If he managed to get a good result here, it might bring him back on the radar, because at this time last year we were talking to Honda, talking about, is he the guy you want to put into Formula 1 in 2017? We know Honda want to put a driver in. We thought it was going to be 2016, but it'll probably be 2017 now. Honda want to bring in a young Japanese driver, and they thought it was going to be Izawa. He didn't distinguish himself in GP2 as somebody, and it's the Lotus.
I just saw the car parked by the pit wall, by pit exit, but on the wrong
Oh
side
boy.
of the pit wall for the crews to do anything about it. And so,
Well,
again, it's a problem here at Sugo, because you've got the crest on the start-finish straight. You can't see it until you come over. It's tucked as tight to the pit wall as it can. This is the car we expected to come on strong through the race.
This might be a safety car, actually, Bruce.
I fear it might be.
Because there's no real easy way to get that car back.
Just remember the figure, the latest gap on the lead between
What
the Red Brick
happened?
Honda and the Mola
I missed her.
Chasing
Was
GTR
they
with
not
4.5
showing?
seconds.
Well, the GreenTech SLS hasn't stopped yet, remember? He owes us a pit stop, and that's what we were talking about that 50-60. Well, lots of trouble, usually serious. That Nissan-powered Lotus Evora has stopped, and it looks rather terminal for that car. Not quite sure how they're going to recover it. They may just leave it there, but that would be bad, and that would be difficult to do. Well, drive-through penalty there for the Zensarumo RCF. Now, I don't know if that was
Well, is that an award
well,
for...
this is what it was
the
for.
incident. This is, unfortunately, the demise of the Hirati car. It's the white one with the red wings.
And that is for this
Ooh.
incident earlier on that brought out that long safety car that did end up shuffling a GT300 class so
Gotcha.
much. Driver out of that
Yeah.
Lexus, absolutely fine.
No, it's
And,
the driver who didn't get to drive it, Heikki Kovalainen. We'd already seen that car go bouncing over the curbs and beyond, and so the Zensarumo Lexus is being called into the pits for...
I think that's a tame. That's a
I think
wrist
it's a tame
slap.
punishment, because...
I think that was not on.
Well, bear in mind the Calsonic car came in for
everything. Yeah.
twice. Because, okay, pulling out around another car, but he pulled about 3 car widths wide of it when one would have done, and they left Hirati no choice, got on the grass, and then, of course, the car whipped away from him.
I'd say a minimum of 1 minute stop and go for that, because that was dangerous driving. That was overly aggressive.
Wow, Viva's at 18. Wow, thought it within 20 seconds, and GreenTech has yet to make a stop.
Putting another competitor on the grass is a bit beyond what's fair. Well, here we go. Somebody else having a bad day. This is a car that did stay out. This driver change. This is the Petronas
That came into the pits on, was it lap 1?
and 2.
And 2.
Yeah.
Was it lap 0?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
in fact,
But Ito Rossiter leading the championship coming here to Sugo.
Do anyone has been
last
double
2
lapped?
rounds of this
Hold on. I want to see someone who's
Super
been
GT
2
series,
laps.
and it's all gone wrong for them. In fact, if a safety car will come out,
Missed
it
it
would
at
help, but
least-
it needs to
okay.
happen now. Right now.
But dude's
And
been
that's a Super
7
taking
laps.
I think he nearly got into the back of the car in front and just
What?
decided to take an alternative route through Japan.
Yeah, there are a couple 2 laps, and then there's a 7
no
lap,
harm
bro.
done. Got away with it at the last minute.
This is the car I was saying was handling so well a couple of laps ago.
Well, he did handle well,
He did.
Bruce. He
didn't go on the
avoided the crash.
He just off the track. Now let's have another look.
I think he outbraked himself.
Minding his own business.
Oh, he lost the rear end.
Great camera work.
Yeah.
And kissing the very edge of the tarmac and then coming back on. So the chase will resume. Be interesting to see how fast he can close up again, but he wouldn't have helped his tyres a great deal with that manoeuvre down the
not at
first
all.
turn.
Well, I wonder if he either went in way too quick or
That's true,
his
it's
tyres were beginning to go.
5.9, now
It was a
he's
bit early
losing
for the tyre
time
score,
now.
So I think he just was a bit, what some people call it overspeed, or I sort of overconfidence. And confidence overcame grip. Oh, that was...
You don't often see that in the pit lane. A driver totally focused on his own car for the pit stop, waiting for a
did
driver. Was he the
not
driver who
know.
just got out? I think he could be the one who just got out.
No, I think it's the driver about to get in
About to
there,
get in.
Bruce.
Might
Yeah,
get
I think
a
it's
stint like that. But anyhow,
I didn't see which car it was.
no, I
I
couldn't.
thought it might have been the Porsche, but I'm not sure if that stopped or not.
Wait, Viva has taken the
And,
lead.
yeah,
GreenTech is in the
that was a
pit
very
right now.
lucky driver, I think. That was a close thing.
That would have been the Zent coming in for another penalty.
No. I think again, if I was race director, I'd be having a word with that driver.
No, clearly no. I was only joking.
Well, we could just give him a penalty anyway. It seems to be what's going on. Well, here we go. In the lead, because that car that was in the pits was the GreenTech SLS, which was the GT300 leader.
Okay, on lap 53, or for him probably 51 out of 81.
And
Alright,
coming up
let's
is another
see
change in class as
where
the
he's
GT300
at now.
class begins to sort itself out. The Toyota Prius
Pace is
has
too
fought
high.
his way back up through the field and is now in 3rd position, but that is the Manipa Gallardo in front of him, the Lamborghini, which may be replaced by Huracan next year, I'm being told. That little Toyota Prius is going to have a little run past that Gallardo in not too long, and then it becomes a case of can he
4.8,
close that
dude.
gap
Well, this will
to
have
the
to be the
top?
place.
I mean,
wouldn't it?
Raybrick
The Prius, the hybrid
SR
power coming up the
GTR
start straight,
so
a steep climb.
close
He's right in the
compared to
with the
everyone
Gallardos
else.
to go over the crest, and of course the move should come off down the inside, not the outside, please, down into turn 1. Is he close enough to make the move? Answer: no.
I think the Gallardo is actually a more slippery car. I think it's got a higher top end speed. It's a smaller car, and you see the two of them. Oh, he nearly wipes the rear out of the Gallardo there, and the little Prius did.
20.
Well, he's getting impatient, but that was that was really unusual.
Viva has
Expect
a
any moments
great
to come into
lead
turn
here.
1, not between turn 2 and turn 3. Got very close indeed, but
Not a
the
bad start. Gotcha.
little Prius very, very anxious to get past. The Gallardo doing absolutely great jobs in the hands of Hiramini.
And who's that sneaking up behind them? Is that a GT500 car? or
Viva
is
has
that the Subaru?
time, bro.
That's a 500 car, so don't worry about that. And it's the Calsonic
Sorry,
car.
last
and
gotcha.
That's just at the wrong point, because I think the Prius was going to have his go there. And the Prius is now going to try and use the Calsonic car to get through. That's exactly what he's doing. Got side by side, and
Great move.
yeah, that was classic
Wow.
good thinking driving.
He
That
must have just been thinking, you must get past the Gallardo. I don't want you between me and the Gallardo. Did the job, and I think that's the best move of the race so far.
yeah, that was Nakayama there. Fantastic little bit of that was mature.
I mean,
driving,
Raybrick is
actually.
doing
He saw
well,
the
dude.
Calsonic car, and he thought, right, that's my chance.
Yeah, but
And
he
he
still
didn't
had to
just-
see where it was going to be placed.
Yeah, as for
and he
GTR,
did the brave thing of
not
going
sure.
on the other side and thinking there'll be a door, and the door will be open just a little bit because he's not thought about, and I'll nip through before anyone has a chance to do anything about it. That was really good grown-up driving. Now, can he close down the lead to the leading Toyota at 86?
Well,
He's
still got
stuck in
26
third
laps
gear.
of his
Gotcha.
81 race in which to do that. And I certainly think the way he's going at the moment, he could do that. We'd get a... Oh, there's a big gap still. We're 25 seconds.
Yeah,
I know.
It might be a bit too much, I think.
Second a lap, and then, of course, there's the ebb and flow of traffic with the GT500s coming through. You'd have to have everything lined up the right way
What
for
you
you,
really need
so
is-
not to lose anything at any moment.
What you really need is a safety car. I think if actually we had a button here to spice up the GT300 lead battle, I'd be pressing the Alan Gow button for a safety car for some debris. We got debris, so we could throw a safety car for that.
We could.
Yeah.
We could indeed. I presume the Lotus has now been pushed away from the end of the pit. Well, quite a hard place to recover a car from, unless there's a gate.
It's still sat there, Bruce.
Is it?
They've just
You've
abandoned
seen
it. Yeah.
Right, okay. Well, the drivers all know it's there now, in fairness. And the car that won a couple of rounds ago dropped down to 6th place in the order just after those safety car period.
No, let's look at the lap times there. I mean,
Still
that's
looking
good. Look at that 53rd lap, 121. All the others are gonna
6.7.
115, 116.
Oh,
He's lost a
boy.
chunk of time somewhere. And I can't-
GTR has
I
a
can't
lot
say
of
that's
time
just
to
gonna be
make up.
traffic. There must have been a moment for that car that we didn't see. And he hasn't really appears to have lost much positions, but D-Station Advan GTR working his way up from 5th and very soon into 4th position.
Certainly happening, and again, earlier in the season, we've seen it coming strong in the latter stages of the race. Will it happen again? It won't be going for victory.
26. Viva is
debris
getting
that's
his
the battle.
lead.
Now,
dude.
I said that someone might get over that debris, and I think both of them.
Green
Yeah,
Tech
I
is
think
in
that's
8th
I said
now.
It would be the heat of battle, and this. 'Cause you just
Wow,
forget,
that pit stop
Been there for
killed him.
15 laps,
Yeah,
if not
and-
more.
That
They
pit
just,
stop
the
absolutely
Prius
killed him.
nearly took out the front of the Ineos car. I didn't see him coming, took the line, and there's the Motul Ortec car, which I suspect must be a lap down now, because we've seen him have a few moments throughout this race. So he's not going to feature, but he will be a little bit of an irritant, if you like, in the rear view mirrors of these cars, particularly the D-Station GTR with Sasaki at the wheel. Michael Krum having got out earlier on.
It was being dropped. Kunamoto's just opened up in a bit of a gap. Let's see if the GTR can catch the Lexus as they go over the crest of the hill. The gap between them, well, it's visual, and Quintarelli closing in the
6.65,
background as well.
man.
So this is
I
what
mean-
this is what we like. This is what we're going to get. We're going to get a 3-car battle. This was sort of how we were for that battle 4th, 5th,
So
6th before the safety
That
car
Motul
came
car
out.
has actually had a good run of it then to get back up into 6th position, and that's actually really important for the championship points, with two of his major opposition, the Petronas Lexus and the blue Calsonic car, really struggling for position and time. They're both significant distances back now.
Yep.
So this is actually really good news for the reigning champions.
Well,
It is
Quintarelli
getting
really
close.
is on a roll here because he's getting right in, and Kunamoto drops Sasaki there. The green and black car with Sasaki at the wheel, the GTR.
All right, we have like
lost
one
out a
more
little bit in
hour.
traffic.
Holy
The Kunomoto is
smokes,
looking a little bit
dude.
punchier at the moment.
Holy
He's
smokes.
putting a couple of cars between himself and the green and black Nissan in the background, and all along Quintarelli is closing
Green
in.
tag.
You can see the
Man,
Motul
my
car
man lost a lot of
not
position.
really in the background, he's almost in the back.
Yeah,
right
that,
behind it.
That's one of the natures of this, the way this the Motul and the Super GT racing, I guess.
He did not
pans
have
out.
enough
You
of
quite
a
often see
lead
these Nissan GTRs
at the
coming
beginning
stronger and stronger
and
through the
skipping
race. And
his,
here comes Ronnie Quintarelli, getting a little
stop.
bit racy around the back of the teddy bear car. And I think he needs to be a little bit cautious. We've seen how easy it is to make a little mistake turn into a big one here.
Well, he did really well there. He was sort of slower in, picked the moment and was faster out, and ahead of him Sasaki got a bit suckered and couldn't get the power down as soon as he wanted, but luckily for him has put an SLS between himself, for one corner at least, by turn 2. It's over. Quintarelli gained a bit, lost a bit, closing in again. I don't think Sasaki's got the speed to do it. I think Chrome did a good job in the car, but I think Sasaki, after that, fabulous win a couple of races ago at Fuji,
I wonder if he's
right here, right now. But don't forget, we think both these cars hit that debris on the track a couple of laps ago.
Well,
Could
no,
be.
no,
Or
we don't. No. Quintarelli didn't hit the debris because it's Quintarelli's debris. It was a bit of Quintarelli's
Bro,
car.
he says
that was,
debris. It's debris.
Of course it was,
Yeah.
but it was this grouping went
Debris,
over it. In fact,
that's
more
right,
like
yeah.
the car in front.
Not
It's the
debris.
Ineos and the Sasaki, and it looks like now Sasaki's weaving
Viva
on
has
the
a
track.
26
I think partly
second
to put some heat in his
lead.
tyres and partly to upset Quintarelli. But he was weaving down the straight, so it looks like maybe he's not getting tyre temperature in the
They're
D-Station
British.
Advan car.
I know.
And
And
well, the Michelin
it's
tyres
not debris,
on the
it's debris.
Motul Ortec car. It's no surprise that the Michelin man is sat next to Sugo Matsuda, the Nissan Works driver in the pit garage, who's got out of that Motul Ortec car. And he must be quite happy with what's happening.
He wasn't
Nice
giving a lot
debris
away
on the track.
because actually this lap's been a better one for Sasaki. There wasn't any traffic and he's actually opened it out. So maybe it's just Quintarelli is braver in traffic, but again he's starting to close in again.
No, I think it's
I
tyres.
think it is tyres for Sasaki. Again, looking at
Bro,
turn
there's a
2,
dude with
it's
8
front
laps.
starting to wash away. Certainly wasn't turning in as crisply as it should do.
Well, the S-Road Mola car is beginning. It may just be traffic there, Bruce, but the S-Road Mola car...
Oh, boy's about to
as
make
I
the
said,
greatest
these
comeback of his
GTRs get
life.
stronger as the race goes
8
on.
laps.
He's beginning to eat into that gap between him and the Honda. But looking in his rearview mirror, is that the Zendt Tsurumo car? Now, we've seen that car serve a penalty, so I think he must be a lap down. But
Is not-
third
yeah,
position,
no,
I don't
he is
think
not
he's
at
really
all.
in contention.
How Sonic
for
isn't
the top
either,
2
bro.
steps of the podium, but it looks like things may not be entirely
struggling.
settled at the front of the race. There you go, down from 7.1 seconds a few laps ago to 5.4 seconds now. The gap's not coming down super quick, but there's enough time at that rate of development for these two cars to be together by the end of the race, assuming their relative pace remains the same, which it might not. These tyres are different, and these are different cars. And that mid-engined Honda with Izara at the wheel is not the most consistent thing for a run on a single set of tyres.
Well, watch. I think the Zendt car I just saw on the time screens is down in 12th place after they had the extra pit visit.
It's had extra pit visits. It's one of these cars that has a nightmare. And actually, this is one of the things that could be playing to in championship points terms, certainly to the Motul Ortec car, because he is going to be making a lot of ground. Now, here you go. This is a strange situation. You have the S-Road Mola, race leader, lapping his way through the GT300 battle for various positions. As the GT300 cars, there is that Subaru versus GTR battle. He hits a bit of debris on the way, and they are battling with
5
themselves.
seconds. SGTR.
But at the same
That's for
time, he's working
GTRs.
through that battle. He's
in
catching
there.
up other lapped cars. Now, as he accelerates over the brow, there is the Zendt Tsurumo car, who's unlapping himself as he's coming to lap another GT500 car.
It's a complication on top of a complication.
Yes, exactly.
I think we can safely say.
There's cars everywhere.
Absolutely cars everywhere. So the last time we checked the lead, it was 5.4. Now it's nearly 6.4
Yeah, that's
seconds.
that traffic there, isn't
I
it?
think it's traffic. I think it might. The NSX, I think, might, as you suggest, drop off in the final handful of laps. Might be an inconsistency, but we've only got 20 laps left. He's just got to keep it straightforward. And we are having these gluts of cars, but the Mola car chasing with Yanagida at the wheel, trying really hard. I don't think he's quite got the pace right now.
Oh, that's a
try
position.
either side on the kink on the back straight, but. Oh, sorry, it wasn't the kink on the back straight. Coming into 110R, that was coming out of turn 10.
It was still a very... Is that wise, Minister?
Yes, it was a sharp intake of breath and
Oh, yeah,
kept on
definitely.
going. But anyhow, we have still the Raybrig NSX in the lead
I'd
of this
really
race.
be interested
The
if they
gap is
did
going
these
up
races
and
where
down,
you
but
drove
largely
81
it's
laps
staying
by
about
yourself
6
though,
seconds
and
per
then
second.
it's
That was a
literally who gets
definite
the
moment as to
fastest
how
time, but
Jeff
it's
was on the
81
radio
laps
saying,
by yourself,
actually, don't
the
do
best
it.
you can drive.
That was not a wise bit of
That'd be
driving there.
very
But that's, and
interesting
look
to
at the
see.
gap it's created
I
between
really
Waki
wonder
Saka and
who would
Kagure.
win.
I mean, that little moment, that little, this is the nature of this Sugo circuit. A little miscalculation, it's probably the best way to describe it.
7.1, he lost
5-10
time.
seconds,
That's
or even,
not good.
you know.
I can't think of a circuit where you've got cars running in not perfect order, the situation they are, where the gap has gone in and out so frequently by not 2/10 here, 3/10 there. We're talking 1.5 seconds on a lap.
Yeah, you can
All
gain a
those
lot.
little corners you just cut to try and really eke back the time, and it just goes the other way. But it seems to be penalising all of them in turn. It's just simply a question of when, but it's such a shame when you get a battle that's been shaping up for lap after lap, and then suddenly it's 2 seconds between them.
Well, that's what we're seeing right now. A battle that has been, well, it's not even been shaping up. It's been raging for lap after lap between this Subaru BRZ and the Jim Gaynor run Nissan GTR, with Tomita at the wheel of GT3 spec car and Yamuchi at the wheel of the Works Subaru. They have been going at it hammer and tongs for a few laps. The Subaru's desperately trying to get past and hasn't managed it. And I don't see any signs that it's going to be able to. I don't think it's quite got the grunt to get past Godzilla on the straights.
We've seen before it's got the handling, but I'd
12
love to see
laps.
onboard footage
Jeez,
from
man.
the BRZ for the whole race. He's been involved in a fight from start to this point in the race.
I
Every
actually
lap
give
he's
up.
been in
I'm gonna be
tight
so
traffic.
free.
That is actually something that's lacking from
That means
this
you're like
Japanese coverage. I guess they're not so much into it. Now,
24
here is the
minutes behind.
real-time ranking. The GT300 Championship. Andre Kuto will stay out
Like
on
12.
top. Coming to Chio, the Nismo driver. He's only on 54 points, but that's because he's busy at the Nürburgring rather than fighting for the championship here, which is a slightly strange decision, but there you go. Saga and Nakayama have moved up onto 49 points. They've jumped right up, and we didn't see the rest of that, but you read it. So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to look at that in more detail later on. And if you're watching on View on Demand, you'll be able to pause us and just read those points for yourself. All these races, of course, we keep them on the archive on Nismo TV, so you can watch them at your
26 seconds. I mean, he's
what was the
keeping
internet
his
last? You can watch these races forever.
So here we are, lap 63 of 81, and it's almost nose to tail. You're looking at the S curves coming up to
Oh,
five-point
gotcha.
turn,
Okay.
and it feels like the first lap of the race all over again. Was that 20 cars we had in shot? I reckon so.
I think that, and that CRZ there, really, he's trying to work his way back through the field, make up time, but he's got GT500 cars all over. There is the Motul Ortec car on the back of the D-Station Advan car. Not far in front is the Enios car, who's getting all Mercedes up at the moment and losing a chunk of time now into that corner.
He pulled clear. He totally dropped the
Yeah, Nightbot really
GTR.
does not like wings.
I mean, Sasaki's been pushed so hard by Quintarelli, but Kunimoto had got clear. He broke clear. The
I have no
traffic
idea
was
what
worked
you
against
said.
him. Now in the background, there's what
That's
the black and green Sasaki car being pushed super hard by Quintarelli. But we've seen this before. He's weathered the storm. The storm has now come back to him.
And
slip wide.
And that's not right. That's not right. The GT300's gone fast as well. Now, what happened there?
Did he just? I think he just ran wide, got on the dusty stuff.
Well, I
and
think you
couldn't
might
put
be
the
right,
power
yeah.
down. But that was extraordinary. It was like he just lost 2 seconds in the blink of an eye. And Quintarelli, who's been hunting and not managing to make a move stick for 10 laps, gift.
He didn't even have to try, which is a bit disappointing, but he's now going to be set off after that Enios Lexus, which is not all that far in front.
Not all that. We've just hit as he's going out of the S curves. He's got about a mere 5 or 6 GT300 cars ahead of him. And so Quintarelli is definitely going to be able to hunt him down. But if it depends how fast Kunimoto can get through that bunch of cars, he should pick most of them off down the back straight. And unfortunately for Quintarelli, he'll pick them up at the end of the back straight and have to go through turns 9 and 10 and then see what he can do. But race leader in the Raybrig car, NSX, still super happy at the front. Takuya Izawa, so looking very good indeed. 58 kilos of success ballast. That's sort of middling from the top group, so it's either
just for 10 minutes,
or not.
that is brutal.
Race coming to them. We
that
thought it might be a good circuit for the Hondas. 5 of them in the top 10 in qualifying. This one started in second place.
Funny, but that is
leading
brutal.
the race.
Yeah, and
there is the car that started on pole. Yanagida driving it around about 5 or 6 seconds down.
And he's had that Zent Tsurumo Lexus on his tail the whole time, but that car's a lap down.
6 seconds
really
still, man.
But it's been sitting there almost like a tail gunner for him, which is not
bro.
really what you want when you're trying to fit fast laps. Every time you sort of have a breather. Now, what we're watching again, the Keeper Toms RCF.
Coming in from 3rd place. You can
Oh no! Look at the left. Look at the rear wheel. The driver kept his foot on the throttle.
Okay,
That's where he lost the time.
That's where he came. Is that you commented on it? So is there a penalty coming up? I don't know, but that's.
I don't think that's a penalty.
But he's in
offence.
third place. You can see he's 32 seconds down. He's 25 seconds, 27 seconds, 25 seconds. That's right. First time down on second place. So he's not likely to challenge there in the final 15 or 16 laps. But
nah, it's all right.
Driving, frankly.
It's okay, Shanks.
I remember the old pit board.
It's all right.
In gear, brakes on. All of that stuff. This driver clearly didn't do that. I think the driver was getting out with the car in gear.
I think they forgot the pit board. It's the blame game. He's left it at home.
Drivers should know this stuff. It's not.
Yeah.
That was. I don't think it should be a penalty. If there is a penalty for that, it's a bit unfair.
I just wondered why there was sudden excitement. You could hear the track announcer screaming in the background, and then we realised it was a replay. I thought they were coming in for another stop.
No, because you kind of already serve your penalty by doing that. Because you've cost yourself a chunk of time. And actually, if that hadn't happened, he could. Oh, he is a penalty.
I want another wreck.
Oh, well, that's not on.
No, that isn't. What you just said, he's effectively so. Okay, so third place, kiss goodbye to that. So everybody else move up. So suddenly for Quintarelli and Kunimoto, they're getting up towards far better helping of points.
Yeah, that's
tragic.
That's harsh. That's really harsh because, as I say, they have served that penalty. They lost the positions and the time. It looks like somebody is actually coming in for a scheduled pit stop there in the background. I can't quite see who that was. And there is a car on its way to the pits with 66 laps completed. Somebody else is on trouble out there. There's that stricken Lotus, forlornly by the side of the track.
Just about the point at which you thought it's really going to come into its own. You were saying, watch out, always late in the race, the Lotus comes into its own, doesn't use its tyres, and, well, not using them now, sadly.
Listen, at least it's true to Lotus's legacy and reputation.
Yes, I had one in my drive once. Did take it out occasionally.
Yeah, I was going to say, did it ever leave? Did you ever manage to get it to go?
So, just when they're minding their own business, suddenly the race has gone away from
Gotcha.
the number 37 keeper, Lexus. Meanwhile, as they say, out on the track.
But you don't believe there's another wreck?
Now in fourth.
Okay.
Lost fifth, of course, gained the position.
29 seconds.
Oh, he's got a penalty. What's that for?
Well, your guess is as good as
baffled
mine.
by that. What's that penalty for?
I think they felt most of the other drivers had one.
Here we go.
Too, so.
Oh no, this is the penalty now. For...
finally.
Yes.
Diving up the inside.
No, that's that. You see, I thought that was a penalty.
Yeah. In fact, looking at it properly for a third time, but the second time in replay, I think he does deserve that.
Yeah.
The door. I said the door was half open on a corner where you can't overtake, and it wasn't. It wasn't even a quarter open.
Yeah, but at the same point, I don't understand why the Calsonic car got a penalty for the same incident.
No.
I think that was. I think it just might be the Super GT script writers making sure that the red car and the blue car stick together anywhere on the track. Or they can carry on that scrap. That's a bit of a shame because he's now just got onto the tail of the Enios car, which is in third position, and was about to get himself a podium spot, and that is now gone.
That is so sad.
Gone, totally gone.
In case you're wondering what that little blue ribbon on the sleeve of the pit crew there.
Viva is securing his spot right now. I mean, almost 30 seconds behind is the Toyota
who's allowed
Prius.
to be on the pit wall without overalls on. That's what that's all to do with. So it's just it's a very rustic way, I think, of doing pit passes. It's a bit sort of
1 minute and a half.
Crystal Palace circa 1950.
That is
Yeah,
brutal.
in fact, the Goodwood Revival last weekend in the
That is
motorbike
brutal.
races, 2 rider races, and the second rider had to have an armband. But they made them wear it on their right arm, so no one watching from the outside of the circuit could see you had the armband. You could see it in the pit lane, of course, but so that was a constant bugbear. But
That is
bike
so
racing
sad.
fantastic. So, drive-through penalties are shaping the race. They haven't affected the battle for first and second at the moment. That's advantage Raybrigg NSX. Certainly they came on strong. But pretty much everyone else from there back, we've just seen the third place car penalised, has had a problem.
Yeah, people have had problems or been delayed by drive-through penalties or by
Or block pit lane.
Or a block pit lane. And that is really the shape of this race. It's actually... It's upset the order, and it's actually ruined a couple of good battles in this race. So race direction has not been wonderful.
Not being wonderful.
Man.
The gap between first and second, we wondered if it would come down. It's stabilised. It's still at 6 and a bit
modal,
seconds. It's been 7
that
seconds,
is
5
painful.
seconds, 6 seconds. And do you reckon that the pole sitting...
All right.
GT,
We'll have to
He's
see.
gone off there once already.
Something against pink.
Andrea
pink colours.
Caldarelli's like summing it up there. And he looked happy. Yeah, that's pink GTR has gone off at the same point on the track that he went off on before. He had that little moment rotation there earlier, and he's... I think maybe it's because it's in the shade. He thinks the track goes somewhere else. Oh, Robinson
Quintarelli
in the
not,
wind.
not
Yeah.
full of happiness today.
So,
Quintarelli won't be either after that drive-through penalty.
yes,
We'll drop him down the order.
we're
Down
seeing
to
the gap
seventh
now
place.
between Caldarelli's car and Quintarelli's car. Hirakawa, of course, is
Modal
the
is-
wheel of the keeper RCF
yeah,
there. The white
keeper's
and blue
right
car
behind
is-
Modal.
that's just coming over the crest now, behind the Motul Alltech car. Really, I don't think that keeper RCF is going to be of great trouble to the Motul car. Now, that
Okay.
pit stopper, we saw just leaving the pits now, it was one of the BMW GT300 cars, and I think it was the one with the yellow bits on, not the teddy bear car.
Not the
And I think that was probably just a late scheduled, well, very late stop actually, with only 11 laps to go. I'm not quite sure what that was about, but
No,
maybe.
I wouldn't think that's quite normal. But anyhow, you're quite right. The Motul GTR should and is dropping. The keeper
Yeah.
Lexus round the point of the track where we just had the spinner at
By
lap
Toyota 80 cycle pit.
No,
debris in the gravel on the outside there.
We had the real-time points for GT300 a while ago. Now, that's not going to be that different as it was before. Andre Couto still looking very strong in that class and will have ballast to go going into the next round at Autopolis. However, I would very much like to see a real-time points calculation for GT500 because I'm
It's all
lost on
Interesting.
that
It will
one.
be all changed. Basically, what you can guarantee is anybody who was well placed coming into this race by about lap 3 was already in trouble. If not, driver penalties have dropped them round. It's going to be totally turned over.
Now, I think that Estro Mola crew, this is going to be a big day in the sun for them because I think they weren't too badly placed and I think they will be moving up, possibly even to the top of the rank. The Petronas car have minimal points from this race. Motul Alltech and Caltonic GTRs both struggling. D-Station Advan, now they've had a good result. They are still
he's
running around in reasonable positions, but
5th place, I think. they were,
here
6th
is the
place.
guy of the moment, 10 laps to go.
10 laps.
Young Izawa-san, Honda's works driver, is working his way back up. Well, he's not working, he's working ways back into contention to be a
GTR.
top
Just
driver
wanted full
once more
screen.
by perhaps
Understandable.
winning this race. 10 laps to go, and he's got a good, solid gap. Someone who doesn't have a good, solid gap anymore is the Enios RCF, which had a slight respite in third
He's opened
position.
it out. We just see him now going over the crest. It was down to a car length, and he's managed to work it around the lap. He's put another second.
But this was the car that was getting bullied by the Motul Alltech GTR a few laps ago. He's now got a completely different GTR on his tail.
Yeah, so
so
Sasaki coming back at him. Sasaki was the one,
26
one in that
seconds
trio
still.
who was losing ground. And again, it's always a rider here at
Boy, you said the ceremony and interviews. Boy, it's almost 1 a.m. It's almost 1 a.m. We'll see.
Suga. You have to say, was it a
We'll
lap
see.
that was affected by traffic that brought him back into contention? But right now, he's clearly lapping at exactly the same speed
It's
as Kunamoto.
almost, what do
This
you
is the
mean
battle
I
for third
got
place.
time?
But there is some traffic, or we
You
just
know
missed
I
it, but there was some
timer
traffic
on.
that we really didn't want to see for the D-Station Advan car, which is the Calsonic car, which is going to be very difficult to get past because it's a GT500 car, just a heavy one. With all that success ballast. Well, we're having a quick look at some GT300 cars.
Well, it's the championship leading one in GT300 with Andre Couto, who is on, they reckon will finish this race on 75 points if he stays, and that will give him a 21-point advantage with 2 rounds to go. So looking very good for the Macanese driver.
And he's done a swap around of teammates because Nissan are swapping in Chio and other drivers because Chio is on the GT Academy. I think he's a GT Academy winner, isn't he, Chio?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, and he's on the sort of GT Academy rungs of fame being worked up. But actually, quite interesting to see that he's not being deployed here in Sugo, but instead at the
10
Nürburgring
laps to go.
for the Blancpain Endurance Series this weekend. And I don't know, if I was Mr. Chio, I think I'd rather be out in this race, to be honest, fighting for a championship than...
Yeah.
Wow,
God,
Toyota's
I think
making up
it's
some
championship
time.
already.
25.
As you were saying
Yeah.
that, I was just sort of scrolling back through the
Yeah,
background of my mind. I think, are you right on that? I think you are actually.
yeah. I think
What a nice position to be.
Be
You don't
fighting
want them
for
on the
2
same weekend. You don't
championships.
say, well, yeah, fight for 2, but oh no, calendar clash.
quite good, this computer game thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, this, of course, this championship first came to prominence in Europe through computer games. Super GT, I'd never heard of it until, I knew of the Calsonic GTR because I had a model kit of it as a schoolboy. And it was the Nissan Skyline. And I built a model kit of that one, and I thought it was a very nice car. I never put the stickers on. I always thought it looked better without the stickers on. And I wanted a road car that looked like that. Never did get one. But
not even your latest hire car?
No.
You should insist.
Oh, a Peugeot Sport version. That would be quite nice. World Rallycross 308. Here we go. This is the battle we've been looking for third position. And the D-Station Advan car taking a little bit of slightly gentle view of that one. He thought better of it. He was going to have an aggressive run and then decided against it.
Okay, now we're coming down to the corner where we've had clashes before, down to turn 3. This is where Quintarelli sort of forced the door open and Sasaki not as forceful. So Kunimoto able at the moment to keep the Lexus ahead of the Nissan in the battle for 3rd place. But meanwhile, there's some distance back from the 2nd place Nissan.
Oh,
why are we looking
and
at that?
that's
Just make or break, yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh my goodness,
That's trouble for the
Toyota's
Tronas car.
gaining.
Had trouble from the start of the race, so might as well just follow it through now. Sasaki having another look. This is the car that won a couple of races ago. The black and green Nissan all over the back of the Eneos Lexus. But we have something pink in front, but if you wait, the pink cars normally spin.
Yeah, well, that's the same car. It's the same pink GTR, and he's probably just going to drive off the circuit in a minute. So let's not worry too much about him. Unless he brings out
if he does it in front of you.
Yeah.
So 8 laps to go, coming down fast. But I think at this battle, I can't see Sasaki.
Oh, someone's
had a
definitely
moment
off,
in front of them and driven through the dirt.
Yeah, well, I don't know if there was somebody still in the dirt, but there was somebody definitely off. And
well, this could be the moment. This could be an advantage. Did Kunimoto lift slightly because there's more dirt in his face? But Sasaki looking at the outside, that's not going to work. The corner's way too tight. Turns 1 and 2, you have to go down the inside.
Okay,
that's certainly a chance for Sasaki to get closer, and he's much closer now, right under the tail of Kunimoto in this battle for 3rd place. But the
That's right,
NAS RCF
5.4.
still holding on to position. Only a couple of places on the lap where I honestly think, unless traffic gets in the way, and Sasaki is really, really positive. Traffic, we can produce your traffic.
There's
Here's
some
a whole
traffic,
group
yeah.
of us. Have it in front of you, sir.
I always wonder if there's a bit of team play that goes on. GTR gets well out of the way in that one.
I think
but
this has to be like the greatest time for a pit stop right here. 8 laps to go.
Certain car types, certain car measures.
Seal your position.
I will finish that point about the
last.
GT Academy in a minute, but let's stick with this battle at the moment. Now, lights flashing like a Christmas tree as they come down towards the end of that fast section, and that's
advantage
costing.
Kunimoto.
Yeah.
That's dreadful for Sasaki. Petronas. They might as well have done that at the end of the first lap. It was all going wrong. We don't know why it was in at the end of the first lap, but not to the end of the race, I'm afraid. So for Ito and Rossiter, a disaster here at Sugo.
Apparently, James Rossiter likes iced tea. That's what he was drinking there. There is that Ferrari that has...
Twice in a lap, Sasaki has lost out big time. I mean, the Ferrari
Man.
didn't really go anywhere else. It's very dusty if you go to the
Lost
outside of the
a
line
lot
in
of
110
time there.
But for Kunimoto, sigh of relief. He's got a 2.5 advantage, whereas before it was the coat of paint between them.
Well,
1.2.
That's just allowed me to get a little bit of a gap before they come back together, which is inevitable. To finish that point about the GT Academy, well, this is a series that came to prominence mainly through the Gran Turismo computer game. And cars like the Takata Dome NSX and some of those cars you could...
Let me so for real. I would love
Gran Turismo, the first one, and Gran
to
Turismo 2.
hear
Well,
like
that's a
the
computer game that sort of
in-person
led
what
on
they're
to
saying. That'd be the
GT
funniest
Academy, and that is a definite problem there for the Calsonic.
Oh,
the
no.
Challengers are
Over
all having
for
trouble
them.
now. And he is in with 7 laps to go, and I don't think that's for a drive-through. I don't think the crew expected it either. Look, they are on the radio saying, "Why are you here?" Yeah, they don't know why he's there either, and the TV director's got bored of that because the battle's rebrewing. But this is a championship that really came to prominence through that computer game, and it's brilliant to see that computer game is now producing drivers for this championship. It's bizarre, but wonderful.
Yeah, it's one of those classic cases. If someone had told you 10 years ago, etc. But I mean, wow, Sasaki has really closed in. He lost out 3 instances around the last lap and a bit. He's lost out in traffic, and now he's got a fabulous run out of 110.
Screaming up to the back, hasn't he?
Back past the CRZ that started on pole for GT300. No time to look at
It's
that.
got to be a brace. There's a
Now he's
Lotus
looking up
there.
the inside. Yes, exactly. Do you remember that Lotus? Parked on the inside. Okay, well, he's certainly got his dander up and is having a look, but he's going to have to make a move very soon. 6 laps to go. This SLS holding up Kunimoto in the 3rd place. Lexus down the inside. Oh, what a fabulous camera angle there. But Sasaki got through as well. That was the key. So
I think Kunimoto's going to finish 3rd or in the wall.
I do feel Sasaki and can both be in the wall because it's getting closer and closer. Sasaki hasn't looked that aggressive in traffic as Kunimoto was far more aggressive about 20 laps ago and was really picking his way through. Got clear of this battle. Quintarelli dropped out of it because he had his drive-through, but Sasaki is now...
Bro, these two are
form.
battling
how
right
GTRs
now.
Come on really strong at the end of the race. This is the end of the race. 5 laps to go now for the race leader, who's sitting on a it was a dwindling lead. It was 4.5 seconds last time I looked. Had been
really?
about 6 or 7. So it's coming down, but not enough. And also looking at the GT300 class, that's a gap of about 23 seconds. It was 25.
Ooh, but there is another car coming into the pits. It looks like, I don't know if he was looking to get it slowed for the pit road, but that is the Arta Autobacks
For the points
NSX
and money.
that has come in. But
True.
let's
Okay.
not
Oh, yeah.
think about that.
Sasaki coming around 110 this wonderful slingshot corner onto the uphill start-finish straight, using whatever so they can get over the crest. But is he close enough? Not again. It's the same gap as last time. 1 and a bit, 0.1 of a second, and that's all he needs. Where's the traffic going to come? Always, you get to turn 1. There's an SLS there.
There is. I
Extraordinary.
think that's SLS corner. They should rename it. And, we've seen he struggle to get around the rest of the lap and make a position. That Leon SLS is just going to be at the wrong position, I think, for the D station car. No, he got nicely out of the way and, well, maybe to the advantage of the B-Max. GTR back there in GT300.
Well, Kunimoto's starting to really cut the corner at the S-curve there,
Oh.
bumping the curve on the inside. Michael
He got
Crum on the
lifted
pit
up
wall.
there.
Nothing he can do about his teammate Sasaki. He's done his bit early in the race. Will Sasaki be able to produce a 3rd place? This is a team that's really coming on strong in the latter half of the championship. And Sasaki right on the tail, but where's he going to make the move? I don't think he's got enough speed. I think traffic has to play a role in this.
Oh, I think
Come
there was an
on.
interesting conversation there on the pit wall because the
Come
team
on.
were telling Sasaki just, go for it, kill him, get him.
I love how they're only
And
focusing
I
on
think,
these guys,
Crum
but
was
like
saying,
I'm
no,
happy
no,
with
no,
it.
no, Don't talk to him, leave him to it. He knows what he's got to do. I think that was the
I-
conversation.
Come on, get a
there.
pass.
I think so.
Let's
It's
go.
The voice
Come
of
on.
reason, the voice of long-time experience. Michael Crum, of course, raced for decades now in Japan.
Yeah, so Michael
Ray
Crum is
Bray.
actually older than the country of Japan.
Oh yeah, I'm not surprised at
But
all.
now Sasaki, well, maybe with no radio interference, this is as close as it's ever been over the
Oh my goodness.
over the crest onto the starting straight. He's got the drag, but he's on the
Ah!
outside. Kunimoto should
He's
be
got
able
it.
to hold him off. Under
Oh,
braking,
no.
Kunimoto's got to be brave, but what a move. from
Oh!
Sasaki. But is he running wide? Yes, he is. But so's Kunimoto. He braked
gets
as
the
late as
pass!
he could, and it wasn't late enough.
Oh my
And
goodness.
So let's go back to the pit wall with Michael Crum. That's the shot we want to see now.
Yeah.
I told you to leave him alone.
He'd have that exact
He got
same
the
facial
pass.
expression that he's always got.
Yeah.
Is he gonna catch back up though?
Come on, Michael, give us excitement.
I'm very happy.
Yeah, so victory a couple of races ago for the D Station car, and now up into 3rd
Oh.
place.
What-
Certainly their championship coming very strong.
Speaking
Is
of
that-
that,
is that all we get to
it
see of
is
them?
one on
Like, is that it?
GT300. It's the Gallardo versus one of the million SLSs in this race. It's
We'll
the
have to
Gainer
see.
SLS taking on the Manipa Gallardo, and the Gainer SLS has slashed that gap down over the last 4 or 5 laps, from 5.4 seconds to, well, nothing.
Well, in that case, it should happen down into turn 1 if he's got that much momentum. Not enough this time, but he's going to have 2 more attempts at it because it's
Stop
3
spoiling
laps to
the
go in the
race. No more spoils, Sphinx.
Come down to 2,
I
but the
think-
Gallardo looking quite tidy in front.
I'm not entirely convinced I'm right on this, but the GT86 in front of the Gallardo, I think, is also, it may be the 2nd position car. No, it can't, because that's the Prius. So I don't know where that's one of the cars that lost. In fact, that was a car that was battling for the overall GT300 win earlier, and it was one of the ones that must have lost a huge amount of time in the pits. But here goes the SLS, and thinks better of it.
Yeah, don't want to make the move into High Point corner, but he might tuck his nose up the inside and
Oh,
get onto
that's
the back straight. That is
that's
brave. Will
very
it work?
brave.
Will it work? I don't think it will, but the Gallardo should be able to get the power down sooner. But the SLS,
Oh snap.
with
It's a drag
Hironaka,
race.
has
The
got- has
pure
got it. There's a kink
1v1.
in his back straight, and so I think that's position change coming up now. Here comes the kink. They'll kink to the right. Ooh, little flash. Great move. He had the momentum. Made
Got
it work, but
him.
the key there was getting down the inside as the left High Point corner, and at Rainbow, he tucked his
gotcha.
nose properly up the inside and got the power down. Good move.
Great move. Somebody's nicked the badge off the front of that lap.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to disqualify it then, won't we?
Yeah, exactly. It's not as homologated. So there you go. No badge.
Extra ventilation, I think.
Yeah, I think it's probably had a bit of contact somewhere actually, and just somewhere rattling around on the side of the track.
Miss
Is
left.
Old
Another
photo of
race.
Bjorn
Alright.
Bernheim there. He's got a beard in that photo.
Yeah,
Also
exactly.
good beard
Yeah.
this year. Good sort of Viking beard.
We see it's a variable length beard as Izawa works his way through.
Ray
Fairly,
Brig.
untroubled
9.5.
since
Okay,
he
9
made that
seconds.
Really quite strong. Well, his stint's been great. He made the move on the S-Road Mola GTR, which really was a bit disappointing in its 2nd stint after those forced pit stops. And well,
there
there
it
he
is in
is.
the background of the shot, and the fact is it was 4.5 seconds or so, and it's gone out again.
He
And
must
wow,
be
well, look how it's gone out in the last 2 laps. 9.5 seconds.
Yeah,
So
he's given up
He's
on it.
given up.
He must be getting so bored of that Zenitsurumo car in his rearview mirror because
It's a confusion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of course, he's not in the overall race. Yeah, well, he is in the overall race, but he's not in the reckoning. But he's out there trying to do his best job after the extra pit stops.
Well, there's
This late stage in the race are getting people kicking up the dirt through the final corner, but it's not affecting the race order out front because the Ray Brig car going onto its very final few couple of laps, and the Subaru doing a good job, but there's nothing it can do
Well, there is
in that battle for second.
Well, here is the leading GT86 in GT300, and here is the leading car in GT500.
Oh yeah,
One
he
round
did
together
great.
for the photographers.
So,
it hasn't been close.
That gap last time, it might have come down a little bit in traffic, but that's more than enough for the Raybrigg car to stroke it home for victory.
And this will be Honda's first win for quite a while.
Really quite a while.
Yeah.
It seems a long time since we used to see Ralph Furman popping up on the top step of the podium weekend in, weekend out, but Naoki Yamamoto started the race and Takuya Izawa is bringing it home.
This is going to be quite
Final
emotional.
lap down the last back straight. He doesn't mind about the cars ahead too much. The Ferrari would be quite nice if it got out of the way. Lights are flashing, but that doesn't magically make the Ferrari GT3 car jump out of the circuit ahead of him. But through the horseback corner for the final time at racing speed.
Get out of the way!
Big enough gap because it's the back of the grouping where the chasing GTR of Motoyama and Yanagina is. So the Mola team will have to settle for second place, but the Raybrigg Honda team will be delighted with this. Takuya Izawa. Final corner.
He was already waving, I think, to the crowd just there. Even though there's no crowd there, that's a bit of a funny one.
Just practicing his way.
Yeah,
when he comes over the crest here onto start-finish straight, doesn't matter too much about getting past the Ferrari. Job done, the pole-sitting GT300 car in that pack as well. But victory for Honda at Sugo. 2 rounds to go. Honda coming into the mix.
And that's also victory for the Mother Chassis Viva C86.
Viva was... Bro, you see how close? Hold on.
That with the Nissan engine.
Did you see how close Viva was to those guys? I know the race isn't over. I know. But, like, did you see how close Viva was to them? He had the 300. And they had a 5, bro. That's
the line. Who is going to be third in both of these classes?
Come on, we want to see Kunimoto. Izawa's being spoken to from the pit bull. We want to see what happens to Kunimoto. Will he hold on to third place? The Raybrigg Honda victory, we know that. We know second place went to the S-Road GTR crew, but who is going to finish third?
The Prius rolls home in second position as expected, but in both classes there are battles for third position. The Gainer SLS grabs it from the Manipa Gallardo across the line, and coming across the line in GT500, it is the D-Station GTR. So he got that position. Enios RCF and Wedsport RCF are coming home quite closely together, and the Subaru BRZ coming home in 5th position in GT300. Stay with us. We'll be with the podium ceremonies here on Nismo TV. If you watched Suzuka, you'll realise the level of weirdness in the podium ceremonies is going up and up each race, and it's nothing to do with us. We don't know what's going to happen, and we don't understand any of the words. So celebrations now for both Honda and the first win for a Mother Chassis car in Super GT. These new Mother Chassis cars were introduced at the Thailand round last year as an experiment.
The race is
They're
definitely
a new type
over.
of low-cost racing car from Asia, but they want to grow this concept across the world. Whether it will work or not, I can't see the GT3 teams accepting these carbon fibre monocoque.
Okay, they start
Mother Chassis
speaking
cars,
gibberish.
even though they are cheaper
I'm
and
not
about the
watching
same speed
this.
as we've seen, and I think they look great and allow teams to do a bit of engineering, which is what the whole point of them is. But that car there is now cruising back round to the line, and that is very good news, not only for the team who run that car, but also for the GTA, the owners of Super GT, because they have been trying to push more teams onto this Mother Chassis concept, and I think we will see some new Mother Chassis cars next year. Rumours of a Kia GT turning up, and even perhaps a Renault RS01, though quite how that will fit in, I don't know.
Interesting.
We're
Anyhow,
watching
what
the
we can
stream
see
right
is there is the Victor Izawa had a very
there's
slow
5.
rolling lap back to the pits. Delight in the Honda camp, the Raybrigg crew.
He's definitely going to
Probably
be
like
happy, because this is, I
mostly
think,
me,
Honda's
but-
best result of the year so far, isn't it?
Yes, we talked about hasn't been a time of glory for Honda in motorsport worldwide for a while now, but will this put them back on the map? Not necessarily, but what it is, it's definitely a good step in the right direction. Honda came here, they got 5 cars in the top 10 in qualifying, and for Izawa and teammate Yamamoto, you can see what this win means to them. Izawa will come out feeling a little tired, but natty helmet design, sir. But yeah, Motoyama delighted with that. Yamamoto, sorry, I beg your pardon. Delighted with that. Victory for Honda here at Sugo.
He's just thrown stickers at that helmet.
That's in a wind tunnel.
Well, they are a very happy pairing, and they should be. Slightly disappointed, should it be? Maybe we'll find out later. If not, we'll find out something through the mediums of social media. Follow at Nismo on Twitter, and you will find out what the thoughts, certainly all the Nissan drivers are. I think we'll probably get some thoughts from the likes of James Rossiter. I don't think we'll see that in this post-race coverage.
Yes,
Bro, I got
because they
8
don't tend to
hours
talk to
out
the
of this
English people very much
stream.
if they haven't
went very wrong for them very early on, but fought from second place. The Raybrake Honda into the lead of the race. Nothing that Motoyama and Yanagida could do in the Mola car. In the end, they came home in second. They stayed
Okay,
in the
yeah,
hunt,
there's
in the
no-
reckoning,
okay.
5 or 6 seconds
Like
down
no
until the
one
final
watched this
couple of
entire
laps.
time, pretty
But traffic played its role here. But I think Honda, without the traffic, would have won. Of course, this race included the safety car period that sorted out the lower order, but for
probably
the
lost
front runners, it didn't affect them at all.
Yeah, I mean it did cost some of the front runners a chance of being in this race. I mean, the Arta NSX was hit quite heavily by those problems, and I think some of the other cars in GT500 were significantly delayed.
Yeah, but I was still, when I say the front runners, I was talking about the top 2 or 3,
Yeah.
three or 4 on the circuit before the safety car. They weren't really affected. Of course, the Mola GTR crew did lose a lead of nearly a dozen seconds.
They
to
did,
the
yeah.
safety car.
And here we see a car that has won at the GT300 class is the VVAC mother chassis Toyota GT86. Now, this is perhaps going to be a slightly controversial victory in Japan, because this victory was almost gifted to this car by that mid-race pit lane, well, mess, frankly.
Yeah.
And taking nothing away from the crew of this VVAC car. They have been very strong throughout. They qualified well, they've raced well, and they've had very few errors during the race. However, some of their strongest opposition was just delayed by where they happened to be located in the pit garages.
No, the thing is, that's called racing right there. They're saying it's luck. I don't call that luck. Like that's how it goes. That's literally just how it goes.
Rather than not having good performance. So that's a bit of a shame for the
Yeah.
sport, but it's still a very good result all round. The first win for a mother chassis car.
So for Takeshi Tsuchiya and Takemitsu Matsui, great delight. But if you missed the early point in the race, when we had the safety car, we had cars, the pit lane is so short here, we had cars parked diagonally, and then we had a blockage at pit exit, and anybody who hadn't got out was absolutely stuck. You had to sit there waiting for it to be cleared.
And there were certainly some issues in that pit period. I mean, we saw the Denso car, and that's what caused our signal interruption at the crucial moment. We saw some issues down there. You can see the pit complex being quite small. So here are the interviews for the winners. They're probably just quite happy. Don't know the bloke in the Middle East, probably the team boss.
Well, I watched them on this one for 2 hours. And I'm exhausted because I've watched him race for 2 hours. Holy smokes, dude. I'm exhausted. I really feel like doing that. I don't know if I... That's fine. Oh, did I pause that? I did, kind of. It was cool. I like the end whenever it was like the true 1v1s. That was cool. Actually, oh. What the heck just happened? Okay, I don't know what just happened. My headset buzzed or made a noise. That was different. It was cool. I did enjoy it. It was cool. It was cool. I'm glad I finally got to watch it. I still wouldn't say racing is necessarily my favorite thing in the world, but it was cool, and I respect that. I think it was quite cool. Yeah, that was cool. On another... I want one with more crashes. We need more crashes. Maybe. It's gonna be a long time for another day because I'm not able to stay up super late, and usually I stream like Rocket League and stuff at the normal time. Alright. Because, yeah, they expect me to play games usually, which I usually do want to play. And, yeah, I'm going to have school, which means I can't stay up super late. Alright, well, I may go to sleep for the night. I'm tired. I will see you tomorrow, Sphinx. Have a great night, my man. Appreciate you staying.